Well, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another edition of Flight Set Simulations live streaming on this Memorial Day in the United States. If you're from the United States, it's a very big holiday for us. And I want to give a great shout out to all the men and women of the armed services, and particularly people who gave their life to allow us to enjoy the freedoms we have. So thank you very much for your service. And also everybody that's actually currently in the active services, thank you all very much for your service. We're here today in Oslo, Norway at Gate 45. And we're here in this excellent scenery by Hergy1234. I have put a link in the description below. And we're in the PMDG Boeing 737-800, and we're going to be flying today to Brussels. More on the route later. I did want to say that I did a test flight yesterday, and I had the same exact thing happen to me that happened to Q8 Pilot on his stream a few days ago. Right in the last 1,500 feet or so, the entire panel just froze up. Nothing worked. I could still fly the aircraft with my hardware, so my yoke and the flaps and the throttles and everything worked, but I had no indications at all of anything on the panel. So I began to notice that when it was suddenly drifted off the ILS, and I'm like, this doesn't seem right. And then, so then had to take over manually, and I could land it. Okay, I had no idea what speed I was at or anything, but I kind of guessed it and landed it, and then took it over to the gate and parked it, and was unable to shut off the engines or turn off the lights or anything like that. So ACARS wouldn't recognize the flight had stopped, so I just canceled that. And so hopefully that won't happen to us. It's a hit or miss thing. There is quite a lengthy thread I found on this subject in the last few days in the PMDG forums. It's 4 pages long now, and Robert Randazzo, in fact, commented in the stream he's aware of it, and they're trying to troubleshoot this down, but it apparently is very difficult to find out what's going on. Anyway, hopefully we won't have that happen to us today. They think it might have something to do with the TA-RA on the TCAS, so we're not going to be turning on RA today. We'll just turn on the bare minimum we need for Vatsim. We are going to be flying this flight on Vatsim today. So let's see here. Okay, very good. So that all worked. Okay, so here's the aircraft here outside, and very nice indeed. Let's go inside now. Well, let me first of all show you what some of the routing is going to. What some of the routing is going to look like, where we are going today. So let me, before we do that, let me bring up the chart here and show you kind of what's going on. Okay, there we are. Okay, and let's see. Okay, so we are today going to be starting off here in Oslo, Norway, and we do have some Vatsim online today. And in Norway, let's see if they're still up. Yes, oh, the tower's off, but we do have approach. And then we have some ATC coming over Copenhagen, and then Brussels ground is on with an ATIS. So that's good. So we're going to fly straight down. This is a route I took off of Flight Radar 24, again, as I've talked about before. Hopefully they won't give us a reroute. If they are, I'll say, hey, I got this route off, I want to fly it, unless it's a hassle for you, and then in which case, if it is, then I'll just go with what they say. So basically, like I said, these routes now are just turning out to be a lot of direct. So here's another one, just straight on down all the way to the first waypoint of the star. And so I just picked these here because they were kind of on the route, and I tried to make sure that the route crossed over Copenhagen here, in the right spots. And this point I picked, it actually, the real one was a little bit higher and a little bit further to the east, but I couldn't find a waypoint on the chart, so I just picked that one. It's close enough. And then these ones came, so I approximated as close as I could where the track crossed the land here, and then put the route in. So that's going to be the route that we're going to be on today. Now, so make sure, let's see here. Okay, the departure is going to be the VIPA 6 Bravo. So we're going to depart off of runway 1 right, and we're going to make it at 1,100 feet, 205 knots. Max, we're going to make a right turn, to GM 440, keeping our speed below 230 knots, and then it's another bank angle check here, all the way on down to the south. So that's going to be our routing today. We are located right here at gate 45. Okay, so we're gonna set the pushback up to face east. We're probably going to get taxi instructions to taxi via Sierra all the way on down to Bravo 1, and then we'll take off. So that's kind of what we got going. Okay, so let's get into the cockpit and get started. So we're here cold and dark. Let's see, do we have the, yeah, the jet bridge is attached. We're here cold and dark, and all I've done is attach the jetway. So also I'll show you the fueling and everything. So let's get started here. First thing we're going to do is make sure that the landing gear is down, and the speed brake is stowed, the flaps are up, throttle is in neutral, or is in idle, and we have our fuel levers in cutoff. Okay, everything else appears to be closed off. I know we can go through and check documents and the fire extinguisher and the axe and the rope and all that. We're going to skip that, and we're going to come up right now and we're going to get some power to the aircraft. So we're going to turn on the batteries, and then we're going to turn on ground power, and away we go. Okay, make sure everything looks good. Okay, now once we have done that, we're going to come to the overhead panel. We want to make sure the light's on so people know that we're actually got power to the aircraft. And we are going to turn on the inertial reference system, turn those to nav, turn on the microphone, or she'll be glad to see that I have the diving eagle is gone. So while we're up here, let's reset the voice recorder. These will work. No, yeah. It's these that work here. There we go. Yeah, those are working. Okay. And these will come on a little bit later. And then we'll check. So, okay, we'll check these. Oh. Okay, we'll get to that in a second. What's going on here? Okay, sorry about that. We'll come down the panel here. This will turn on once the IRS is aligned. Fuel is off. And we'll come over here now, and we'll make sure that's on ground power. It is. Everything looks good here. We're going to turn these on. And actually, these cockpits tend to be kind of dark, so we're going to turn up the panel light here all the way. Turn up the circuit breaker too. Okay. Okay, there we go. Now we're going to turn on the emergency lights, activate those. We're going to keep the no smoking sign on until we refuel, and then when we refuel, we'll turn on the passenger sign. We'll leave these off for now, and we'll come up here and we'll turn on the voice recorder, turn this to forward, make sure the trim air is on. It is. Click these a couple this way. Okay, trim air, there we go. We'll turn those on. Make sure that's down, turn this on. We're going to be going to flight level 360 today, so we'll set 360 in the window here, and then this airport's about 170 feet, so we're going to set 200. Okay, and all that looks good. Now we're going to come to the lower station here, and again I turn all these up. I'm going to leave the floodlight off because we don't really need them, and we'll get let's see, make sure here. So we're going to go to TA only today. We'll get our squawk code here in a minute as soon as we get on to Vatsim. This could be the VRR if we need to come back, and this will be the ILS frequency for this runway in case we need to come back. And then we'll change those later to the ILS frequency for Brussels. Now we're going to set this to 122.8, and I believe we do have approach online, so we're going to set 120 and 0.45. We're going to give him a call up here in a second, just to make sure they don't give us a complete reroute before we start loading in all the FMC and all of that. So 4, 5, there we go. Okay, we'll turn that over. And we'll make sure this is on, turned all the way up. Okay, we'll set guard over here. All right, the weather radar doesn't work, so we won't worry about that. Now it's time to do a little fire check, so we'll come over here. And these work? Okay, cool. Now the other way. Okay, looks like our lights are all working. Cool. Come on back here. Check our squibs. Okay, those work. Oops. These are so fiddly. There we go. Okay, perfect. And then we'll come down here and check the cargo. Okay, excellent. So that's all good. Parking brake is on, and don't worry about our trims and everything else. So let's see if the takeoff. Okay, so the warning works, and now we will come over here and make sure that all these panel lights turned up. Turn that up. Turn these up. All right, we'll turn them down as we need, but for now we'll just turn them up. For now we'll just turn them all up. God, I hate this zooming back and forth thing. I know there's a way to get rid of it, but I do use the zoom sometimes, so turn that up a little bit. Come over here, and we'll make sure these are all the way up. Make sure those are all the way up. And we'll make sure this is all the way up. Okay, so that's all good. Okay, IRSs are aligning. And so let's get some of the basics done on the FMC. Well, first of all, yeah, so we'll get some of the basics. We'll get the IRS aligned here. So we'll position a init, and we'll go ENGM, Echo November Golf Mike, and we will select the first GPS here. Okay, there we go. Now that should give us our IRS aligning. Now I'm going to log on to Vatsim here and get our flight plan filed. Okay, there we go. And oh, we don't have any. Well, let's see. I think the let's see if we have any ATC now. Okay, we do. It's just not coming up yet. All right. And so we want to get the ATIS as well. So let's take a look at the ATIS. Here we go. And ATIS is for departure. We're on information Foxtrot. And so the runway 1 left is in use. So maybe we'll get 1 left. I'm not sure. For clearance and startup, contact approach 12045. Wind is 310 at 4 knots, variable between 270. That's CAV OK. And so we have information Foxtrot. So let's make a note of that. Foxtrot. And 310 at 4. And what's the QNH? QNH is 1019. Okay, so we will press the magic B key here and set this.
Scandinavian 1470, clear direct INSUV.
There we go.
Clear direct INSUV for Scandinavian 1470.
Here we go. Okay, that's set too. Okay, let's call up the approach and find out what's going on here. So first of all, we want to find out what they're called. So they are called, how to refer to them. We refer to them by Ganderman approach. Okay. Ganderman approach, United 1067. We're a Boeing 737 at Charlie 14, looking for IFR clearance to Brussels, and we have Foxtrot.
First, Lufthansa 7 Kilo Mike via the INSUV transition, cleared ILS approach, runway 01 right.
Via INSUV cleared ILS approach, runway 01 right, Lufthansa 7 Kilo Mike.
Scandinavian 1470, when ready, descend 5,000 feet, QNH 1019er.
Maybe they didn't hear me, so let's see if I...
Scandinavian 1470, when ready, descend 5,000 feet, QNH 1019er.
1,000 feet,
Scandinavian 1470.
Scandinavian 1470, confirm 5,000 feet, QNH 1019er.
QNH 1019er, descend to 5,000 feet for Scandinavian 1470.
Thank you. Break, American, correction, United 1067. You are cleared to Brussels via the VIPA 1 Alpha departure, runway 01 left, climb 7,000 feet, squawk 5571.
Okay, cleared to Brussels via the VIPA 7 Alpha departure, squawk 5571, and then climb 7,000, United 1067.
United 1067, just confirm VIPA 1 Alpha departure.
VIPA 1 Alpha departure, United 1067.
United 1067, thank you. Readback, correct.
Okay, so all they did was give us a different. All they did was give us a different runway. So that's.
Yeah, I just thought I heard you say 7 Alpha, so I just needed to confirm that you had the right SID.
Yes, sir. I just pushed the talk button by mistake. Sorry, I'm streaming here and I made a mistake. Sorry.
No worries at all. Break. Cargo looks 535. Set squawk 1712.
Okay, so we're going to go in the VIPA. We have a different departure than I flew yesterday. So let's get that up here and have a look at it. So the SID is going to be the VIPA
Cargo
1
looks 535. Set squawk 1712.
And now let's turn this down. Let's turn down the. Oh, cannot. Oh, we'll just turn it off for the time being. Okay, so he's not interrupting us. So let's find the VIPA 1 Alpha. VIPA 6, here it is, VIPA 1 Alpha. Okay.
Nordic 391, clear direct into.
Okay, so let's get the FMC going.
Nordic,
well, first of all, let's get the aircraft loaded. So now we're going to go to menu, and we're going to go to FS Actions.
Scandinavian 64 Hotel, wind 310 degrees, 4 knots, runway 01 right, clear to land.
What I usually do here is I make sure that the fuel is some reasonable level, and then the payload is also set to 0. See, how can we mute this guy? Let's see here. I want to mute them, so I guess I can just turn this off. Turn that over here. There we go. Okay. I want to make sure we put that back on VHF1. All right, so back to this. So here we go. So now we actually have, so now I'm going to go back to this other part of the menu here. We're going to go to ground services, and we are going
7 kilometers and 4,000 feet.
to set in 17,100
4,000 feet, left on the 7 kilometers.
fuel. And let me know if you can hear that ATC in the, because I can't tell on the stream if you can hear that or not. Maybe I can mute it through the OBS. Let's see. Mute.
And confirm we have the approach 0.
Yeah, that's probably what we have to do.
Distance of 7 kilometers, firm, clear line approach 01 right.
I'm going to make sure we set that just in case. Okay, so all right, so now we're going to release the potable water lavatory. We're going to release that. We're going to start fueling. And then the next thing we're going to do is we're going to put in 121 passengers, which is what we're going with today. Okay, and then we are going to release these because we can't load the loader here until we actually have the catering gone. Okay, so we're taking 11,700 pounds of cargo, so we're going to put in 5,500 here, and we'll call up, request the truck, and then we're going to put in 6,200 in the aft compartment, and we'll call up that. And they'll come in a second, and then we'll start. So now we got the fueling started, and so now what we're going to do is we're going to go to the initial here, and I believe that we can come here and request a flight plan. So we're going to request a flight plan. I did load it into, okay, there we go. So we're going to request a flight plan. We're going to select it, and we got to wait a few seconds while it brings it in. They didn't give us a reroute. All they gave us was a change in runway. So we're going to have to, so we're good for all of that, except we'll change that. And that doesn't come with the route anymore. So we're good. Okay, so that's loading. And once it loads, it'll say activate, and then we'll execute it, and then we'll set our departure and arrival runways. Okay, activate and execute. There we go. We're going to be going off of runway 01 left, apparently. So that's the runway in use. Execute. Now we'll come to make sure the this looks good. It does. Okay, that's all good. So now departure is going to be off of 10 left, and we're going off the VIPA 1 Alpha. So we'll execute that, and then our arrival is going to be, we're going to be ILS 1 today through the ANT, and we're going to be using the Woody 7 Alpha arrival. Okay, so now we're going to execute. Okay, very good. Okay, so now let's take a look. Well, let's make sure now that, but one other thing I want to do, because this takes some time, so I want to go to the FSX actions and make sure that we can now select start. We'll start boarding, and then these guys haven't arrived yet, probably because the fuel is still fueling. And so once the fuel stops, then we can, once this fueling is done, then we can start loading. Okay, good. So now let's come back to the legs, and we will come over here and select flight plan. The IRS is aligning. And so there we go. So now I want to make sure. So what we're doing now, we're going to take off, and GM 436, this first waypoint here, needs to be 230 or not, or less. Then we go to 437, 439, so on and so forth, on out into NESDA and then VIPA. Okay, so then we have Elcock, Rupra, Encos, and Woody. And Woody is the start of our arrival. So we're going to go BR 202, and we need to be here above 7,000. And then we need to be here at 3,000, and I want to be here. I want to be I want to be 180. We'll cover all this in more detail as the flight unfolds here. Okay, there we go. We're going to want to try and do a constant descent approach all the way on down here, since we only need to be at 3,000 here. We want to intercept the ILS, and right here as I intercept the ILS, right in between these two waypoints is when the panel just went kablooey. Okay, so this is what this looks like. So we're going to come to Woody, and then we're just going to swing around. It's kind of a strange approach, but we're going to come to here and then down on over and to AFI, and then over to here, and there's Nivor, and then we're going to intercept the ILS. Okay, so that's how the routing looks. And we'll cover the arrival in much more detail in the briefing as we get closer to descent. Okay, so we've been cleared to 7,000, and we don't need to put 7,100 just because actually my knobs on my Bravo work for this. So
Cargo 535 is holding short runway 01.
There we go. And the runway heading is 012, so we're going to leave 012, and then we're going to put 012 here, and we're going to put 012 here. Okay, and let's see.
Lufthansa 7 kilo, Mike taxi via Sierra, Papa and Delta, stand 72.
Okay, there we go.
Papa, Delta, stand 72.
Let's see, no, I didn't do the, make sure that I pinned that and unpin this one. Okay, it's good, we don't need that. Okay, perfect. All right, so now let's go back and see if the fueling is done.
Land, runway 01 right for Scandinavian 1470.
Fueling is not quite done, so we're probably still waiting on these guys. Oh, yeah, we're still waiting on these guys. Okay. Well, I thought we got rid of those. Why haven't they left yet? Let's see. We need to get rid of those. Okay, to get rid of the. Oh, why are they? Maybe they're on hold because of the fuel too. I don't know. I always get confused as to what order to do what in here with these. But if we can't get it to work, we'll just remove everything and just set the weights that we need. Okay, initial reference. So we're going to be a cost index today of 8. And I should probably show you what the load sheet looks like. So let's do that. Okay, are we on that screen?
Cargo 535, identified.
Yes, we are. Okay, so cost index of 8. The average wind is 349 at 43.
210 and ident, cargo was 535.
359 at 43. We're going to cruise level 36. Okay, cost index of 8. Our reserves are going to be 4.8, so we'll put those in.
Direct request, cargo was 535.
4.8 for the reserves. Okay, we're going to be going to 36,000. Probably why I couldn't put the wind in. There we go. Minus 56, that is actually correct. And then we had 359 at 43. Okay. I did check this. If you come down to the winds here now, I've put this in the PMDG folder so that I can just download these winds. But if you take a look at 360, we got minus 56, minus 56, minus, so that's pretty good. Okay. Should be back here in the cockpit here shortly. And yeah. Okay, now N1 limit, we are going to take off at takeoff 1 and climb 1. And then for the takeoff, let's see, the winds are the winds here are 306 at 5, so we'll put 306 at 5. Oh, I know what I need. Sorry about that. When I switched screens, I didn't have the right focus. Okay. So we're going to put those winds here up here. There we go.
Lufthansa 7 km. Is it possible to take gate 6-8 because gate 7-2 is stopped at my screen? I don't know why.
Lufthansa 7 kilo Mike. Yeah, Abraham, you can take that 6-8.
Okay, so now let's take a look back here and find out what's going on with the ground services. Fueling is finished, so we can release the fuel truck. Okay, and then now boarding is continuing, and hopefully we can get these guys going. Okay, so for now, I want to come over here and adjust these pilot settings for audio. Seems kind of loud. Okay, audio output.
Yeah, 1470, taxi at Juliet, 36.
Okay, there we go. All right, so we have these set right now. Now let's go to the upper panel here, and we can probably set. There we go. We can also turn on the fuel pumps.
Juliet to 1036.
We only have. We only have fuel in the wing tank. We don't have any fuel in the center tanks. Okay. Everything looks good here. Okay, turn on the logo.
Carglass 535, unfortunately there's no operator T available on Unicom 122 display. Bye-bye.
Okay, so let's go back here. Hey, hi Orst. Oh, United Virtual Airline. Okay, I'll fix that. Normally you should set the landing altitude to not higher than the actual. Allows for the doors to open. Okay, well we'll tick that back one. Overhead. Welcome aboard. Glad to have you here, Forrest. So I always thought you went a little bit higher. Anyway, okay. So we'll set that at 150 then. And yeah, I was trying to figure out how to cancel the Vatsim traffic, the communication while we're here, but I haven't figured out a way to do that yet. Okay, so we're waiting now for the let's see, we're waiting now for our ground services to finish doing what they're supposed to be doing. So let's see, the fuel truck is gone, hopefully. Boarding is going.
Thank you for flying. Good night.
Yeah, these aren't loading. So what I'm going to end up doing, otherwise we're going to be waiting here forever. So these guys are still, we still got these guys sitting here for, I don't know, oh, maybe I can get, these guys are still sitting here too, even though I've asked them to release. So I'm not sure. Not sure why these don't go away when I ask them to. See, these are still sitting here. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to come to the payload, and I'm just going to put in 5,500 here. Okay, I'm going to put in 6,200, and we're just going to load this. This worked perfectly the other day, and we have 121 packs. And so that's good. Now I'm going to come back over to the here and just ask all these guys to just take off. Okay, so we're going to release. We're going to release these guys too. Okay, so now we're set. So now we can come over here, and hopefully this is 127.8. Oh, bam! PMDG for the win. Okay, great. So that's all perfect. And then 17.2, I guess, 17.1 is what we have for fuel today. So let's get 17.1. And let's do that. Okay, so transition altitude today, I believe they said was 7,000. So we'll put in 7,000 here. Hope you're having a good Memorial Day, Orst. I don't know if you have the day off or not.
United 1067, Oslo approach.
Go ahead, United 1067.
Unfortunately, I will be closing now. Monitor Unicom 122.8.
Okay, monitor Unicom 122.8. Thanks a lot. We'll see you later. Okay.
See you and have a good night.
Okay, so we lost our ATC. So well. We'll take off the way he wanted us to, though. We'll take off on one left, and we'll fly the approach that he asked us to. Okay, now I'm going to come over here, and so we've already done that. And I'm going to set the CG here, which is 24.9. So let's make a note of that. And we're about ready to get underway here. I don't know if you were here in the beginning, Ors, but I had a problem with the whole panel freezing up yesterday. And it turns out there's a pretty big thread on that in the PMDG forum. So I'm not going to go over all the details again. But if we have that problem, we'll have to just figure it out. Okay. You could reduce it. Yeah, I did reduce the volume. Actually, I have it muted, and it still doesn't seem to make a difference. But anyway, not been much of an issue in the virtual world. So yeah, I can't edit the stream now. I'll edit that later to get the virtual fixed. Oh, that's right. You're in Canada. Oh yeah. Okay. Sorry. USA centric here. My mistake. Okay, so here we go. Unable 230 knots. No worries. We're not going to probably be at 230. So let's make a note of that. 139 for the V1. V rotate 139, and V2 is 148. And so trim is 4.95. Okay, so we'll set that now, and so we don't forget. And so 4.95. Yeah, it's kind of high right there. Okay, so there's that. And so we got that. Now let's come up over here and finish setting up our MCP. So we got 12 in here. We're going to put in V2, which is 148. And the flight directors will command us to fly, I think V2 plus 15, maybe 20. So we'll leave that there. We have this set, we have that set. And so we're going to be navving on the way out of here. So we'll set, okay, we turn on flight directors 2. Okay, then we're going to be navving out of here. So we're all set there. So that's all set. Turn on the RTO. And we also want to set over here our engine out altitude. So that's going to be 680. So we're going to be at 1680. Set that over here, barrel. Later we'll change that to the MDA of the arrival airport. This also gives us our thrust reduction altitude. So 16, this is something that flight deck. This is something flight deck sim does every time, so it must be what they do. 1680. Here we go. Okay. All right, there we go. So that's set. Got the barometer set. We have our IRSs aligned. We're going to be taking off at 5. I usually put the weather on the pilot flying, and I put the terrain on the pilot not flying, which is the first officer today. And then I usually crank up the distance here. Okay. So let's have a look at our overhead panel, make sure we're all set up. We are all set up here. Fuel pumps are on. Okay. And yeah, we're all good here. Okay, excellent. Okay, so what we're going to do is 10 minutes before departure, I'm going to turn on the APU, and then we will also turn on the hydraulic pump. Well, no, then 5 minutes before departure, I'll close up the doors and pull back the jetway. We'll turn on the beacon light and the transponder, and we'll also turn on the electric hydraulic pumps. And then about a minute and a half, 10 seconds or so, we'll fire up pushback and pushback. So that's kind of what we're doing. So how are we doing on time? 56. Oh, 9:56. Okay, I got to set this time right. Okay, for some reason. So this needs to be, let's set it here to, let's set it right there. I thought I had this set up right, but I guess not. Okay, so at 0700, we'll start up the APU, and then we'll get going. So far, the streaming seems good. Streaming health is good. I'm not getting any. Disconnection, which I was getting before, and also my stuttering has gone away that I had. So I had this. OBS was taking up to 50% of my CPU resources. So I got my baseball bat, and me and OBS had a come to Jesus meeting, and we got that sorted out. So everything is good. I did a long test stream yesterday, 5 hours, and everything was perfect. So hopefully we won't have that issue today. It was really distracting having to check that every few minutes to make sure I was still connected. Okay, so we're going to get rid of... Okay, Ors, you'll be happy to see no more diving eagle. So I got rid of that. I do appreciate that.
Was that for me? Can I move on for 17?
After that, I'd like to get 3201, flying the star, but I see that you're doing a straight approach. Is that correct?
Now let's turn on the seatbelt signs since we have the fuel loaded.
Currently 5 nautical miles from into that 8,000.
I was trying to get my chat to show up on a separate notepad, and I have the screen showing, but no chat. So I'm not sure what's going on with this Android thing, but I'm not able to get any chat showing. Live chat. Oh, there it is. Live chat. Here we go. Oh, perfect. Now I can see it. Oh, now I don't have to have this window up. All right, that did work. Okay, so I'll get rid of this window. So I don't really need that anymore. Okay, I can see that. Okay, perfect. Okay, so we have our... Now the other thing I forgot to do is I forgot to download the winds. So what we need to do is come over here, route data, wind request. And this saves us having to put in all the descent winds. At least in the Zeebo, you got to punch them in one by one, but this aircraft, you can do this, and it loads them all for you. Yeah, I'm slowly but surely getting this figured out. So wind request, uplink ready, load. There it is. Now it's going to download the descent forecast winds, and we should be able to get those as well. Load. Okay, and that'll load, and then the QNH we're expecting is 1024, so we'll just put that in right now so we don't forget. There's all the winds, and so that's saves a lot of trouble. Descent uplink. Okay, there we go. All right, so now we're ready. So now let's check and see. We should be close to the time. Yep, it's time to load up close the jetway here, and get on out of here. So we will do that. Oh, I meant to start the APU. So let's start the APU. Here. Start the APU. Once that's started. Okay, I meant not to release that. I meant not to release that, but I did, so. Okay. Maybe the problem is a parking brake isn't set. I set realistic parking brake and now it won't. Oh, there it goes. That may be why none of those craft were loading. Okay, so not ready yet. We need to close the door though. So we need to come back here. It looks like the door's open. So close those doors. Okay. And then we'll come back to here. Okay, as soon as the APU is fired up, there it is. Hopefully all those trucks will take off. Do we have any errors? Okay, just the usual. Okay, APU is started, so let's get that going there. Let's get that going there. We have, okay, we do have bleed pressure over there. So now we can come back here and disconnect the air conditioning unit and the ground power. And these other guys are departing. Yeah, see, it must have been the brake. Didn't have the brake on. I should have just left the parking brake as simple, but put it on realistic. Had an issue with it. So what do we got in chat here? I found that quite a nuisance myself. What was quite a nuisance? Orest? He said, I found it quite a nuisance myself when flying 2020. You're talking about the Diving Eagle, or are you talking about something with the PMDG? Push and hold both brake pedals for 2 seconds. Yeah, that's what I did. But it, for some reason, didn't work. My brake pedal, I have the Cytec rudder pedals from 15 years ago, and there's a little plastic piece inside each pedal that holds, for the brake pedals, it holds the spring, and both of those are busted, so my pedals kind of freely move around. So yeah. Okay, so 7:02. So in a few more minutes here, we'll turn on the beacon light and get the transponder going. And let me set up the pushback while we're sitting here twiddling our thumbs. Pre-planned pushback. There we go. This does work with this aircraft here at this airport, so we don't have to worry about any shenanigans from that, like we've had before occasion. So let's set that here. Since we have a new runway, might be a good idea to brief the departure. So okay, so we're right here at gate 45, so we're going to push back facing east. And so I guess what we'll have to do is turn left on Lima, come down to Whiskey, taxi, nope. Well, I'm not sure how they do this. So maybe come down to Sierra to, I guess that's Papa all the way to November, come all the way down to November 1, and then this way. So I guess that's what we'll do. So you know, okay. Now, okay, so it looks like these guys are starting to go away here. Well, these guys are all sitting here, so we may have to push back with them still sitting here. Maybe we can release the chocks. We could probably do that now. So let's go back here. Maybe that'll help get rid of them. So ground, chocks removed. Okay, there we go. So that should probably get rid of them. Departing, jetway. Okay, well, nope, they're still there. Any tips there, Orest? I fiddle quite a bit with those ground traffic vehicles, and they seem to have a mind of their own sometimes. All right, so what time is it here? It's 7:05, so let's turn on the beacon light, and let's turn on the hydraulic pumps, and let's turn on the transponder so we do not forget. And we're not going to turn it on all the way. Okay. Now we're going to be ready for the pushback here in a few minutes, and we'll get started. Now let's see. So check on the VAT spy here. Oh, so we only have Copenhagen control on. So that's going to be 121375. So let's preset that. 121. I guess even 2000 Zulu is still too early, still too late for Vatsim. 21.375. Okay, we got that preset. And I want to check things. So we'll probably come back to 01 right. And ILS. So now we got to set this here. Okay, that's the ILS for Brussels. We want 111.95. And we want this 111. Okay, in case we have to come back. In case we have to come back to get Oris golf clubs and skis that he forgot.
Also traffic, Leipzig 3201.
Alrighty.
That is ILS runway 01 right. 8 miles out.
Okay. There we go. And there is a VOR here. And so let's see.
Gardermoen traffic, scan 1472, we are vacated, clear of 01 right.
VOR. The VOR is 115.95. So let's put that in too, just in case we need it. 115.95. We'll put that in here and over here too. 15.95. Now, in the event of an engine failure, we're going to make a left turn and just fly a downwind and then a base and then try to land on runway 01 right. Okay, so we have that already in here. So that's going to be our takeoff briefing, and we have another 3 minutes to go, so we're just about ready. I usually put the pilot not flying FMC in the progress page. There we go. Okay, so I think we're all set. We got that. Make sure ACARS is going. ACARS is going. I forgot to click it yesterday. All right, how are we doing here? Okay, we got 91%, 90% CPU usage. Okay, I think we pretty much solved that issue. 8, so we're gonna, when it gets to right near 9, we're gonna ask the pushback truck to come up at 709, and then we'll get going. Okay, let's request pushback.
Cockpit to ground.
This is ground.
All right.
Stand by.
When you get the voice, you know you're good. If you don't get the voice, you're likely to be in for all kinds of mayhem, including having the entire aircraft locked solid to the ground. The only way you can push it back is with powering back. And but when you get the voice, it's always good, especially one voice. Sometimes you get two voices talking at the same time or get a repeat, and so that's potential worry. But we have everything set here, and as soon as we get 7:10, we will start the timer and push back.
Okay, sir. The bypass pin is installed. All doors and hatches closed and all ground equipment is removed.
The parking brakes are set. You may lift.
Parking brake set. Lifting the aircraft.
You're retired now, right, Orest?
We are cleared for start and push.
All right.
Okay, cleared for push start. Please release parking brake.
Okay, release the parking brake. So now, let's make sure parking brake actually releases.
Parking brakes are released.
Commencing pushback.
See, now it just
Starting
won't.
engines in sequence. Please
You will
release
start in the
parking brakes.
sequence.
Ah, there we go. Okay. Alrighty, we managed to get that to go.
Gardermoen traffic,
All right, so we're going to start
for the Arna-Whiskey approach.
the engine on the way out because it looks like we're good. Looks like all these aircraft are still attached to us, so we're not going to have those flying. Oh, we're going to have these with us the whole way? You got to be kidding. Come on, PMDG, seriously? All right, let's start the engine. So we're going to start over here.
Lykke til, Stian. Takker.
Yeah, I retired a couple weeks ago, and it's pretty good. I really enjoy it. And so my wife's still going to be working for another year or so. Okay, so at 25%, we're going to introduce fuel. There we go.
Okay, pushback completed. Please set your parking brake.
Okay, set the parking brake. There we go.
Parking brake set.
Oh man, these things are going to be stuck with us the whole way. You got to be kidding me. Oh my
You may
God.
disconnect.
Come on, PMDG.
Okay, sir. Clear to disconnect. Pin has
Let's
been removed. See you at the side.
Isn't there a remove all?
Holding position waiting for the visual. Thank you and goodbye.
Okay. There's got to be a remove all. Yeah, full time. There's got to be a way to remove all these. Okay, so let's see. Go back to menu. PMDG. Doors. I'm going to be pissed if we can't remove these things. Oh well. Okay, we got the first engine going. Let's keep track of what we're doing here. And so let's get going on the engine number 1. Yeah, I'll say. Very buggy. First time that's ever happened where they stuck with the aircraft. But we have that for the whole stream. I'm really going to be pissed. I know everybody loves using GSX, but I just haven't been able to bring myself to spend the time to mess around with it. I saw all the trouble XP72 had at first. There's a lot of fooling around with it too, and downloading this and that, disabling this and that, and so I'll probably get it eventually. But yeah, I'm going to keep my wife working. She wants to work another year or two, and then but I'm here. Well, I haven't left the house in 3 days. She's in China right now for a month, visiting her parents, a month and a half. She'll be back July 3rd. So, got the house to myself. I literally haven't left the house in 3 days. It's quite a luxury not to have to be working. Hopefully these aircraft will figure out a way, these ground vehicles will figure out a way to detach themselves.
Gardermoen traffic, Scandinavian 316, final, runway 01 left, Gardermoen traffic.
Okay, it looks like we have a good engine start. So let's put these over to continuous, and we will turn back on the bleeds. Okay, turn those back on, turn that to auto, turn off the APU, turn on the generators, and then turn off the APU. All right, so one more quick sweep of the overhead. Probes. Okay, so we get the probe heat on, and so we got all that looks good. Everything looks good here. We're producing power in both generators. Excellent. Okay, and so all's good there. Everything's good here. Perfect. So now what we want to do is we want to do a flight control check. So we're going to come over here and click the system button over here. And one more time. Oh, didn't save. Okay, so let's go in here real quick. And we're going to go to PMDG setup. We're going to go to aircraft. We're going to go to displays. Boom, 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 boom. I think it's here. Yeah, here we go. Okay, there. Oh, no, the wrong one. This one. Okay. Okay, so now we should be able to check our flight controls and confirm they work on screen here. One more time. Oh, there we go. Okay, aileron full left, neutral, full right, neutral. Elevator full up, neutral, full down, neutral. Rudder full left, neutral, full right, and neutral. And let's make sure that the rudder trim set. Yeah, rudder trim. Okay, good. All right. So now we are blank out the lower DU, and we are ready to depart. So let's get the lights on, and away we go. Text is in slow mode, maybe 30 seconds between allowed pull. I set it to 15 seconds. So yeah, because otherwise, I don't know. I may change that. Okay, so now we're ready to go. So let's get the brake off here. Brake is off. And we now want to make a radio call on Vatsim here. So Ganderman traffic, United 1067 is going to be taxiing to runway 01 left via Lima, Papa, November, and November 1, Ganderman. Okay, here we go. A little easy on the throttle. Okay, there we go.
Scanner 316, wake-headed 01 left.
Okay, here we go. Let's keep it under 10 knots here in the ramp. Yeah, maybe I can change that setting, Horst, to turn that out. Once I get airborne and we get in cruise, I'll look at that. I don't want to mess with it right now. And then I'll see if I can edit. I don't know if I can edit that stuff while the stream is going on. All right, so we're coming up here on Sierra, so we're going to turn left on Sierra. See, much smoother now. Now make sure, I had to do this yesterday when I pulled this stream up on my phone. The resolution was kind of terrible because it defaulted to 480 DPI. So what you might want to do is, I clicked on quality and then it sharpened right up and looked great. So these turns you want to make it 10 knots, so let's slow down to 10 knots. There we go. A little stuttering there. Ooh, a little stuttering. Now for me on this aircraft, the center line is right between the console here and this fire warning button. So if you take a look outside, you'll see. Oh no. Oh God. Well, it looks like the vehicles are going to be with us. Oh God, how embarrassing. Oh, PMDG. All right, so this is we're coming up on whiskey here, so we don't want whiskey. We're going to want, got to go down here to, seems strange you have to go all the way down here to Papa, but that's what we're going to do. Because we can't go all the way across this way. We run into the terminal. Maybe we can go around. Let's do that. Okay, we'll go around the turn here at 10 knots. A little extra. Ooh, bad stuttering here now. Didn't have this yesterday. One thing about this airport, it's a little on the bouncy side. So we're going to go whiskey instead. We're going to go whiskey, Romeo. Oh yeah, we have to get on Papa anyway. So let's take a look at our CPU usage here. Well, task manager. See what's going on. OBS is only 11%. Navigraph is taking 12. I wonder if Navigraph is causing me a problem. Let's turn off Navigraph and see if that improves things.
Oh, this is
Yeah,
very killer.
dramatically. And one thing I've noticed, Oris, with the steering wheel, the nose wheel steering seems to be not functioning very well. Some of these aircraft. Tried to make a 90-degree turn the other day, and it should line up with a runway, and I couldn't get it to go. I don't know if that's a setting to look. I close out Navigraph and look at smooth as butter. Look, I'm down to 82%. So Navigraph, for whatever reason, was causing a big problem. Well, thank God for Task Manager. Okay, here's Papa coming up. So we'll get Papa here, and then we'll get a little speed going here. Okay, takeoff briefing is going to be fly up to that first waypoint, which is GM 436. Then we're going to make a left turn. And since we have no ATC on now, I'm going to change the altitude to 36,000. Actually, I can do that with my... Yeah, the Bravo throttle quadrant, all these headings, speed, course, altitude, all these buttons work. So, okay, so let's go up to 36,000. Yeah, we want it to go down. Let's see here, slow down. Are we coming up here? Sure, okay, nope, we got a little ways to go yet. Continue to put 36,000. Look how bouncy this runway is. I have never had Navigraph give me a stutter problem. So maybe what I'll do is, maybe it just got stuck, I'll reload it, bring it back up again, because it's pretty handy to have, especially for stuff like this. Let it load in. They stutter a little bit while it loads in. Okay, so on the airport. And let's see how it's...
Oslo traffic, Scandinavian 817 inbound to the ILS, 0 right.
So now Navigraph 8%. Ooh, bouncy, bouncy. Okay, so we're coming up here on Kilo. So we're Papa November. Yeah, we're going to take November all the way down. And Oslo traffic at 1067 on Papa, getting ready to turn left on November. Oslo. All right, let's slow down here. Okay. Now I got to close Navigraph because it's really causing me a problem. There, look at that. Isn't that interesting? Maybe it's protesting because I got all the ground vehicles attached to the aircraft still. Do we still have that? Oh, they're gone. All but the baggage loader. No, he's holding on for dear life. Okay, well, we'll blow him off when we take off, hopefully. Well, that's a relief. At least it doesn't look so stupid. Okay, let's accelerate here. Got a ways to go. Yeah, I don't use a tiller. I don't have a tiller, so I'm using the rudder pedals, and really it's always worked fine until just yesterday I tried to line up on the runway, do a 90-degree turn, and well, that didn't go so well. We'll see how it works today. Taxiways, it's okay to go 20 to 30 knots. I usually like to keep it around 16 to 20, and then 10 knots when I'm in the ramp area. Yeah, this chat's a lot easier to read now that I have it on my Samsung notepad. I just got to remember to, when the stream starts, to refresh it, because it didn't refresh on its own. So I missed all the earlier chat. Well, I had it, but I didn't have it on this device. Okay, let's pull back on the throttle a little bit. We should be able to just cruise on down here. Now we do have Navigraph inside the... Better get out of the way there, bud. We do have Navigraph inside here. Let's see if it causes a stutter problem. No? Seems to be okay. Alright. Okay. Well, that's... seems to be a little better. I've never had my desktop app give me any trouble at all. It saved me numerous times. So anyway, we're right here now. And so we got a few more. Let's see, what is that? Okay, Alpha 3.
951, establish ILS 01 left.
Okay, we have an aircraft coming in on 01 left. So we're...
Gardermoen traffic, Scandinavian 817, establish 3000 on 01 right.
Okay, someone on 01 right as well. Okay. All right, leisurely 16 knots. And Navigraph did have an update yesterday, so I don't know if they added some extra stuff, but this in-game Navigraph display didn't used to look so good, but it actually looks pretty good now. I was thinking about using it instead of switching back and forth, then forgetting to switch back, but we'll try it out today, because I can't deal with that stuttering. So what do we click here? Yeah. Okay. So again, now we can do this. We can actually do our departure briefing. So we're gonna, oh, that's the wrong, of course it's the wrong departure. Okay. Well, I've already done the departure briefing, so I'm gonna skip that for now. Okay, we're coming up here on the very end. Oh, great. We have no... Oh, we just got a persistent... Looks like the ground... It looks like a GPU. Well, maybe he'll go away too. Okay, so... Here we go. Slow down to 10 knots.
7 miles, final runway 01 left.
And Ganderman traffic at I-1067 is holding short 01 left. Should be able to take off before the arriving traffic. Ganderman. Okay.
Gardermoen traffic, Scandinavian 817, 3 miles final, 01 right.
Okay, so let's get everything going here. So we've been cleared for takeoff. And let's get this here. There we go. Okay, so we'll get right on here and we'll just get blasting out of here so we don't get it. We stay out of his way. Okay. Okay, make sure the autopilot is on. Okay, there we go. And set this to... Let's see how we're doing. Okay, we're... Oh, he's coming. Ooh. Okay, we're going to do a rolling takeoff. Okay. And we're going to spool him up 40. Okay, spool them up 40. Alright. Toga. Oh, we don't have the flaps set. Oh, we got flaps. We'll get them set. Oh. Neutral on the stick. 80 knots. Neutral by 100. Flaps should be 5 by the time we get going. There they go, the flaps 2. V1. Okay, V1. Rotate. There we go. Okay. Boy, I never forgot the flaps before. Okay, positive rate, gear up. Never forgot the flaps before, but there's always a first time. Okay, pitch up. So we're going to keep this speed here until we get to about 1,000 feet. And then we're going to speed up to a 220 and go into level change, 230. Or too high here. Okay, there we go, pitch down. And now we're going to go to 230. And we're going to hit level change. Okay, pitch down. And pitch down. There we go. Oh, really pitch down. There we go. Okay, perfect. Not too much. Whoa, Bessie. Okay, so we're going to go to flaps 1 now. Pitch down a little bit more. And Microsoft, always in this altitude range, 3,000 to 6,000 feet, has this very wacko turbulence model that makes it very difficult to. Okay, now we're going to go to VNAV. Okay. There we go. Pitch down a little bit, and we're going to go flaps up. Pitch down some more. Now, as the flaps pull in, we expect the nose to start dropping. So we got to pull up. There we go.
Gardermoen traffic, Scandinavian 817, vacated 01 right, Bravo, via Bravo 6, taxiing to gate 61.
Now accelerate to 250, keep the nose down.
Gardermoen traffic, Olympic 951, vacated runway 01 left.
Okay, not too much, not too much. Pitch up, pitch up, pitch up. There we go, pitch up. Okay, a little bit more. There we go, pitch up a little bit more. We're in the turn. Okay, there we go. Pitch up a little bit more. All right, there we go. Right on the flight directors. Pitch up a little bit more. We don't want to exceed now. Bring her back. And there we go. We'll hand fly it up to 10,000 feet. There we go. And now at this point, let's get the trim in. Okay, trim a little bit more up. Get back here on course. All right, set standard. So we're going to set standard. There we go. Okay, now we can go back to off here, and turn this off. Okay, perfect. Back on course. A little bit up. Up. All right, that's hands off right there. Hands off, pretty good. Up a little bit more. I'll get to chat here in just a second if you guys said anything. Okay, and at 10,000, I'll pitch down to accelerate. And well, I guess I'll fly through this turn too. So we're gonna pitch down now to accelerate up to our speed. Up to 200, and should be 280 knots. Not too much there. Okay, here we go. And okay, not too much, not too much. Flight directors are a little low on that, so there we go. Let's pitch up a little bit. Bank angle check. Okay, there we go. Let's begin to roll it back here. There we go. Let's roll her back and pitch it down. Okay, there we go. And we'll trim it down a little bit. And then we'll get it right on the center there. Okay, and set the autopilot. There we go. Whew. Okay, we also need to retract the landing lights here, the retractable ones. We'll keep the other ones on until 18,000 feet. Let's alert the flight attendants that we've crossed 10,000. Let's pull in the runway lights, taxi lights as well. Inspection light can stay on. Let's make sure we're pressurizing. So we in fact are. There's the altitude right here. And I realize that guys looking at this on your phones, you probably can't see everything because I have such a huge monitor. So I'm going to start zooming in so you can actually see a little bit better, like where the banana crosses a certain altitude and that kind of stuff. So bear with me. We'll see how that goes. See if I need to do that. Okay, so let's check. Recall check. Nothing going on there. Okay, auto brake is off. Speed brake is stowed. We are good. Should be going to climb mode here at 13. Oh, we should be going into full climb mode. eventually. I think it switches at 15,000 in this aircraft. Now we also want to dial in the heading, so make sure that we're got the heading bug set on the actual heading that we're going on. 15,000, we should, oh, it's already gone to climb mode. Okay, so maybe it's 13,000. Okay, there we go. Yeah, I've already turned the turbulence down to medium, but at all these airports in Europe, at 6,000 feet, the aircraft just starts bouncing around all the way down to 3,000 feet. And I noticed yesterday that the wind was just going in 360-degree circles and varying in intensity. I'm like, seriously, Microsoft, that's your idea of turbulence? Oh my God. Okay, one thing I do want to do that since we're here at cruise here, I'm going to set the descent speed as, oh, that's not right. So I'm going to set that to 0.78. And I'm going to set this to 280. And then 240 at 10,000. That'll give us a better one. And we'll talk a little bit when we get to cruise. We'll talk a little bit about how we're going to do this descent. And some things we can do to make this easier. Coming up on 18,000 feet, we're going to want to turn the seatbelts off and do an outside check to see if that GPU is still with us. 18, 19, okay, 18,000. So now the lights come all the way off. All right, and we'll turn the inspection light off. We'll turn off the no smoking sign. Smoke them if you got them. And looks like we're all good. Just double check the pressure once again. Make sure we're pressurizing those shenanigans there. Yep, we're doing good. Okay, so we're about 3,000 cabin altitude. Differential looks good. Everything's in the green. All right, made it. Okay. Well, how about that departure, Horst? Let's check outside. Ah, fantastic. We have nothing holding us back. Look at that view, though. Oh my God, that looks great. Look at the reflection off the water. Yeah. I tried to record a panorama swing like this slowly and smoothly, but you can't seem to do that in Microsoft with the camera system. So at least I don't know how. There is. These cinematic transitions. I managed to get the replay done on the intro going through the terminal. I managed to record that. Okay, so let's take a look outside this way. Yeah, look at that scene. Man, look at those clouds. So those clouds just look, I mean, you're a real pilot, Horst. What do you think? Those look real, don't they? Those little puffy clouds like that, just scattered around. Yeah. All right, let me see if I can fiddle with the chat window here to turn off the, I don't know if I can edit that or not. So let's see. Oh, I don't want to accidentally end the stream. That would be a disaster. So let's see, can I edit this while we're underway? Okay, so where did it say? I'm not sure where I saw. Okay, so I can do this. Come down here. Okay, age restriction, allow, captions, recording date, allow enabling embedding, show. I don't seem to be able to see if I can customization. Slow mode, there we go, we'll set to 15 seconds, save. Oh, and it didn't end the stream, okay. Where did it say Visual? I didn't see that anywhere. OIso, this is a full flight between Norway and Brussels, Belgium, for United Virtual Airlines. We'll be flying this flight on Vatsim. It's part of United Virtual Ops. That looks good. Streaming. Oh, there it is. I got it. Okay. Link to United. Also missed a space. Okay, so save that. All right, that's fixed. Okay. Yeah, slow mode is off. All right. Excellent. Okay, chat away. Okay, and the stream is still going. It didn't end it accidentally. Okay. Yeah, that was so confusing on the last stream. YouTube was telling me there's no data coming, yet I can see the stream still showing on the window, and OBS is telling me I'm not connected, and so I didn't think I was connected, and fortunately I didn't do anything embarrassing. So I just kind of left it. But I didn't get to do my exit and turn on the music, and it turned out to be I had the replay going, and I was able to with my overlay, overlay, I forgot to turn the overlay on. Okay, there we go. With the overlay going, I was able to tell that it was a 240 landing at about 135 knots. But that's in replay, so you don't know how accurate that is. Okay, yeah, I fixed it, so that should be good. Also entertainment. Oh, is that right? Gosh. Ooh, I almost clicked. Yeah, I almost clicked end stream. Okay, edit. So oh yeah. Gosh. Okay. So there's entertainment. So that's fixed. Okay. Cool. Okay, so how are we doing here on cruise? We're coming up on 27,000, so we'll be at full cruise here. Once we get to cruise, I'm going to talk a little bit about a couple of aircraft that are coming, or at least one that's coming anyway, that I'm kind of excited about, and also show you some of the United Virtual Airlines screenshots some of our members have taken, and also maybe show some of the screenshots from our May monthly challenge, which was a flight to Pero. We have a challenge of the month location, and so this month it was to Pero, and there's some pretty good screenshots. We'll see how much time we have. I also want to talk a little bit about the descent. I want to talk about range rings, a few things like that. So a lot of people have a lot of trouble with trying to land aircraft when they don't have VNAV, and so I wanted to show how I do a backup calculation for the top of descent. And when I did it yesterday, it matched exactly what was in the PMDG. So that was pretty interesting. We'll see if that happens again. Let's check Vatsim and see if we're coming up on any kind of ATC. And let's also open up. Let's get some music going here. Okay. You let me know how the music, if it's too loud or not loud enough. I don't want it to be dominating, but I don't want it to be so soft you can't hear it. So we got a little cruise music going for us here. We're coming up on flight level 300. We'll crank back the bank angle indicator, or bank angle selection here, so that we don't go over, I think it's 5 or 10 degrees. Replay is tricky measuring, yeah. You know what I do in the replay with a lot of planes that work pretty well is I use the flight control replay, and what you can do there is do the replays and show everybody landing and different angles and so on, and then I scroll it to about 10 seconds from the end, and usually what I'll do is I'll stop the recording to begin with, well after the aircraft is parked at the gate and the engines are shut down, the beacon lights off. And if you scroll the replay slider to within about 10 seconds of the end and let the aircraft sit and then immediately shut off flight control replay, the aircraft will remain sitting there and won't go be doing some crazy thing. And so I use that, especially if I'm doing sequential flights, which I like to do sometimes. Now, in the Phoenix Airbus doesn't like that, so that's you got to end up restarting. But there's quite a few aircraft that don't mind that at all. Okay, let's land our heading bug here. So let me know about the music there, Orst, and so I want to trying to figure out how to get this without it, try to get professional here at this. I suppose I should have faded in, but okay, streaming everything looks good. Let's check Vatsim, see how things are going there. And no, we got no. It looks like the only ATC we're going to have is ground. Brussels ground. So let's take a look and see check out the ATIS there and see what's happening. If I can do it here. Come on, there we go. All right, so we've left Oslo. Okay, bye-bye Oslo. It was fun while it lasted. And so let's go here. And it looks like Brussels may not even be online. So what is it? Maybe that's not Brussels. Oh, it's not Brussels. Okay, we got no ATC at all. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to fire up FSFTL. And now if you don't use this, this is all you do. You just fire this up. You can change these settings if you want. If not, just hit no and enter. And it connects to Microsoft and starts downloading all the real world flights it can find, which looks like one. Now it is pretty late over there, so anyway, it'll find more as time goes on. I think it's kind of cool. It adds a little bit of realism with contrails and stuff. Now we need to okay, we're plenty cold, so we don't need to worry about this moisture here. So we don't need any ice. So we're going to continue on here, cruising up. If the climb rate exceeds 1,000 feet a minute, when we get to 35,000, I'm going to take over vertical speed and just slow it down so we don't float the passengers in the back. And then remember to set VNAV after we do that. It's cool, okay. Mine is fine. Oh, okay, perfect. So let me check the volume level on that so that I know. Okay, 54%. Okay, excellent. Yeah, I think I got this dialed in now. It's pretty fun to stream, and there's a lot of preparation that goes into it, which I don't mind. I like the prep part of it. But let's take a look around. So there we are, flying down the coast of. We're just leaving Norway behind, and Denmark is coming up. We've got a ways to go. So we have about an hour in cruise, maybe a little bit less. Let's check the FMC, see what the FMC says. FMC says, well, doesn't say anything yet because we're not a cruise. But, oh, there we go. Okay, so let's check and make sure we're not climbing it over. Okay, so when we get to 500 feet a minute, so I'm going to intervene here and drop this down to 500 feet a minute or so. Whoops, wrong direction. There we go. With a nice gentle, there we go. Have a nice gentle arrival at our cruise altitude. And I think our cruise speed might be a little low, so I'm going to change that to 0.78. Okay, there we go. Check our descent again. Yeah, that's all good. Okay. A couple hundred feet more, we'll be at cruise altitude. Let's see if our Fly Live is doing good. Our overlay is actually showing everything. Got that fixed. I did the last stream. Nothing was showing because I forgot to actually activate it. The number of things that can go wrong. I've actually started generating a checklist. At this time, do that. At this time, do that. Make sure to unmute this and unmute that, mute that, change this. And it's pretty fun, actually. So I'm going to increase the range here. And I like to keep it at 40. That's probably an X-plane thing because the weather didn't show beyond 40 feet, 40 miles. So I usually keep it there at 40 miles. We don't even have weather in this aircraft. So now the Indy builds, A310 did have weather, coincidentally enough. But so maybe I'll put this at 80. So at least we have a waypoint there to look at. Okay, we're at flight levels. We're at our chrono cruise level, so we'll select VNAV again, and we'll accelerate up to 280 knots. And let's take another look around here. So here we go. Let's go out the other side. Should be. Oh, that's also Norway over there. Beautiful and green. Yeah, I like the way that I've got the colors set now because it's green here. It was really green, like I thought it should be, and going into Brussels. Yet it's brown and kind of deserty in other places. So I think I got this dialed in right. And for you guys that are watching, make sure to subscribe and click the notifications bell, and maybe like this stream if you like what you're seeing, and helps the channel grow a little bit. So I got a ways to go for sure. You can at least find me by searching now on YouTube. I had to go down to the other videos and scroll and scroll and scroll and scroll and scroll, and finally found one. So this thrust set simulation doesn't come up when you search, but it'll get there. X-Plane72 didn't get to where he is on 3 videos, that's for sure. These guys have been doing this 4 or 5 years, right? So, okay, so let me go through my checklist, make sure I got everything, did all that. Topics page, turn on the overlay. Yeah, the only thing I forgot to do. So the new Aerosoft A330 is coming out soon. We just posted their 2 weeks notice that it's going to be arriving, so that is going to generate quite a stir. Probably pick that up and stream with it. The headwind A330 is 900, isn't too bad now. It's certainly flyable. It's got VNAV that kind of works. For a while, that was the only really long-haul airplane we had in Microsoft Flight Simulator. Although now, I mean, the A310 can go pretty far. So I think people have forgotten about that aircraft. But anyway, the Aerosoft A300, the screenshots look good, and so we're all waiting patiently for that, and I'm sure streamers everywhere are going to jump on that and start streaming it, including me maybe. So I'm kind of excited for that to come along. I don't know if you can see that, those little waves on the water. I can see them really well. It's a kind of a pattern. This is exactly what water looks like up here. The sun shadowing looking like this. You've kind of flown a lot. You're a real world pilot, Orest, and I've flown a lot on United, maybe 750 or 800,000 miles. Not as many as Rich Lee has, but and this is really what it looks like. I mean, you're flying over the ocean, you get that pattern in there. You also start seeing these swirls from unknown origin, the currents and the water temperature, maybe salinity differences or whatever, wind, and you see these patterns in there. It's not just a flat surface. So you do see this. It's often interesting to look at it and go, I wonder why that's doing that, and why the color is different there. But this is exactly what it looks like. This haze layer looks good too. You remember back in the old FSX days, we'd get the weather that would extend out 10 miles in front of us, and you could look beyond it and see the ground ahead of it. How annoying that used to be. I remember trying to do whatever I could to fix that and just not being able to do it until the REX came along and Active Sky came along and made it a little bit better. But it was nothing like this. I mean, you can't see beyond the horizon at all, right? And so, yeah, Microsoft really has come along with this. I mean, Flight Sim today are just unbelievable. When I first started in 2005, yeah, we got FS 2004, right? And looked nothing like this. So this is pretty exciting. I love the way this, like these clouds right here, just sort of drifts along. You get that when you're flying along in the real world. You start seeing stuff like this, right? It's not heavy, and it's kind of translucent. It just sort of floats along, and you kind of fly through it. All right, so now we should be able to see, we have 341 miles to our top of descent. So what I want to do is start talking a little bit about descents in general. So we know that from I'm going to bring up Navigraph here again. We know from the chart here, because we're going to be flying direct to the first waypoint basically of the arrival, which is Woody. So we can now, let's see, we can now get rid of this, and we can get rid of this. Come we make this full scale? We can. Okay, cool. Well, look at that. Wow. Okay, so we're right here. So we're basically going to be flying a direct shot straight down to Woody here. So let's see, let's get rid of some of these other departures, things that we don't need. Okay, I think I want this one. Nope, I want that one. I want this one. All right, so we're going to fly here. We need to be 250 knots at Woody. Now, this airport also has what's called an SLP, which means slowing. It's a slow down point where you need to be 250 miles or less below that. And so it's actually right by, it's usually 30 miles. It'll say right here, it'll say aircraft being radar vector shall reduce speed to max 250 at 30 BUB when below flight level 100. Okay, so we're going to put in a ring that's 30 miles from BUB. And my guess is it's going to intersect Woody here. We're going to put that in just as a situational awareness, knowing that we need to be 250 knots or lower before we cross that green line. All right. Then we also are going to come down to Antwerp here, and then we're going to actually, when you look at the ILS, we're going to go direct to Affligem, and then we're going to turn into the runway. So let's take a look at that. All right. So here we are at Antwerp. You're going to come down to Affligem. Then we're going to depart heading 165 to 11.9 DME from Affligem. Then we want to cross Nivor at 3,000. Now, Europe is real big on these constant descent approaches where you descend constantly without having the without leveling off. If you descend down to 3,000 out here and you level off and fly this way, the air traffic controllers hate that. So. In fact, Juan Brown on the Blanco Lirio channel was talking the other day. He was in a park in London talking about the arrivals into Heathrow, where they give you a distance. They say you're cleared for the approach, you're 40 miles, and then you got to use that to calculate your descent rate so that you can descend all the way onto the glide slope without having to, spool up the engines and level off. And so it's something that's real important there. Because of noise and everything else. So what we're going to try and do is we're going to try to descend down here. We're going to adjust our vertical speed so that we arrive under the glide slope, but not below 2,000, because we've got to be 2,000. Well, it says mandatory here, but we'll be right around 2,000. And we're going to try to pick up the glide slope prior to getting to 2,000. So we're going to try and do all that in one fell swoop. So that's going to be what we try to do. Once we get to the airport, we're going to land on runway 1. And then we're going to be parking in here, right about in here. So we'll be departing either Echo 5 or we're going to depart Echo 6 and taxi back via the outer 7 to Echo 4 and then in. Or we're going to get off E5 and probably not make this sharp. I guess, well, we might make this sharp turn. I'm not sure what they do here, whether they taxi. Oh, yeah, out. Okay, out and in. Yeah, okay, so we're going to take in. So we'll go Echo 5, take in Bravo, and then into here. Okay. Now, if we have to go missed here, then we're going to fly out at a heading of 013 to 1,500 feet on 013, and then we're going to climb to 4,000 on a heading of 305 to intercept the 305 radial at Antwerp, and then hold at 4,000. Okay, so here's the missed approach altitude. Okay, a left turn 1,500 feet. It's graphically depicted here. Looks like we have Pappies here as well, and so. That's what we're going to do. And hopefully right in here we won't have the panel freeze up on us, because that's what happened. Okay, so that's kind of what we're going to do. So now, let's close that. Okay. Now what we want to do is we want to put a range ring around BUB. So we're going to come down here like this. Okay. Now we're going to come to the FMC, we're going to go to the fix info page, and we're going to put in BUB, and yep, that's 114.6, and by the way, let's change that right now. Let's go to 114.6, oops. Yeah, the computers were really slow. Yeah, I'd mentioned that in my other stream, that it was very slow. Now, what do we say the ILS here? I think it was 110.5. Oops, 110.5. Put that in. We'll double check later. Okay, come over here. Sorry to be skipping around so much, but 10, 50. Yeah, I had a Pentium when I first started, and that was good up to a point. And then I stepped up a little bit, and then I got my current rig, which is okay. We're going to go to FMC now. My current rig, which is an i7 7700K, which just seems to be fantastic. Okay, so we're going to put a /30 in here. Okay, and it gives us the heading too if you want. Now you could, okay, so first of all, where is that? So, in fact, that's right at Woody. Okay, this is Woody right here, so the 30-mile ring goes right through Woody. Okay, now 30 miles is good too because you want to be, it's a good place if you're flying to one of the smaller airports in, say, San Francisco, Nebraska, or Oklahoma, and you get cleared direct to an airport. Sometimes you're not going to have any vertical navigation there. So what you can do is put a 30-mile ring around the airport, because at 30 miles you want to be at 10,000 feet. Okay, if you're at 10,000 feet or less, 30 miles from the airport, you can be pretty well assured you're going to have a safe landing. So you can put 30 miles, put a 30-mile ring in. You can actually add this waypoint. Let's see. Let's go to legs. And oops, let's go to legs. Step down and increase the range here. You can actually add this waypoint into your FMC by just typing in BUB 345/30, and you can enter that into the legs page. Then you can put an altitude there, and now you will have VNAV guidance. And so that's kind of a handy thing to do, right? So we have the 30-mile ring in there. We're also going to put in a couple of fixed rings. We're going to put in the airport, so we're going to put in EBBR 01. Oh no, I think we have to put in, no, I think we just put runway 01 in here. Runway 01. Oops. Runway 01. See if that works. No, okay. Next page. No. There we go. Okay. Now I'm going to put in a ring of 5. And then a ring of 7. Around between 7 and 5 is about where you want to be lowering the gear and managing up the speed and extending flaps. And then I'm going to put in 100. Now this one's in here because it gives us some idea what our top of descent should be. So let's see what that looks like. So the 100-mile one is right here. And take a look at that. The 100-mile one comes right almost with where the top of descent is. Okay, so top of descent is going to be right, let's see, it should be after Encos. Well, we don't have it in there. We'll get it shortly. Okay, so now let's go back, and let's step through here. Oh, still in the, that's why. Okay, we're still there. Okay, so now, okay, so this is right by Encos. Okay, and that's 100 miles. So let's do that calculation. We know we need to be 3,000 we want to be at 3,000 or close to it by Nervo. All right, so let's see what that, let's bring up Navigraph again. Oops, not that. Let's bring up Navigraph. Okay, so we're going to go on the arrival. So Nervo, we want to be, now, so we're at 36,000 feet, we want to be at 3,000 feet, so that means we have to descend 33,000 feet, times 3 is 99, and or call it 100. And that's one reason why you put a 100-mile ring in. Usually you're descending from around 36,000 to around 3,000. So it's a kind of a first rough start, okay? So, but we have to slow down as well, and we also potentially have some wind up here, okay? So let's go back to the, All right, and so we have 50 knots of wind, tailwind. So I'm going to want to add about 15 miles to that. So about 115 miles prior to Nervo's where we want to start down. So let's see what that is. So let's click here. Okay, Nervo to, well, actually we don't need this for that. We can just go to the FMC. In this aircraft, it's easy to do. Okay, here's Nervo. So we have 3.2 to this waypoint here, so that's going to be 14, 15, and that's going to be 36, and that's going to be 45, and basically 55, and then about 60 before Woody. We want to descend about 60 before Woody, which is going to be about 20 after Encos. Okay, so let's see what that top of descent marker is. Let's go back here. And look, it's after Encos and it's about 20. Okay, so it's almost exactly right, taking into account the headwinds. So we're going to make a note of that. We're going to say 60 before Woody. We're going to start down. Now, typically, the way I start down, I don't just punch. If you put in the altitude, the descent altitude in, and leave it in VNAV, the PMDG will descend on that, but it tends to be pretty aggressive initial descent rate as it tries to dive to meet that profile. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to dial in a speed of probably a vertical speed of 1,000 feet a minute until the profile catches up, and then I'm going to hit VNAV, and then go from there. And then it'll go from 1,000 to 2,000, 2,500, and then we'll just monitor it on the way down. Now on the Airbus, what you would do is you would just click you would manage up the speed, manage up the altitude, click on it to manage altitude about 5 miles before, and it'll start descending on its own at 1,000 feet per minute. And then when it hits the actual top of the descent, it'll go faster. And that way we can deal with the tailwind too, make sure we don't get too carried away. And then we can kind of just monitor things with the speed brake. So that's kind of how we're going to do that. And so we have all our range rings and everything in place. And I just want to double check the ILS frequency to make sure I have that right. Okay, ILS frequency is 1099. That's right. Yeah, let's get that fixed. 1099, and we want to get the course too. So kind of mess that up. 10990. Okay, here we go. And 100990. Okay, and set that. And this is the BUB VOR in case we need it. And in fact, 13.5 I think was the VOR of the Antwerp, which we probably need because we need to head to that. We need to head to this in case we have an engine out. Yeah, 113.5. So I'm going to put that over here. 113.5. Okay, that's in case we need to go there. Now the course is 13. So now we're going to put in 13 here, and we'll put in 13. Okay, so now we're all ready for the descent. And let's go back. Oh, kind of a catchy tune here. All right, let's have a look outside. Okay. So we're now, this is us right here, United 1067, and we're just got Norway on this side here. We probably have a little Norway, well, not quite. A little hard to see now. See if this is up to date. Oh no, we're all the way down here. Yeah. Okay, here we are. This is Denmark. So we're off of Denmark here, and we're headed on down this way. Here's Brussels down here. Okay, stream is still excellent connection, and so we're cool. I thought what I would do now that we're here, unless there's anybody has any questions about anything that I can answer, I'd like to go to our Discord and show some of the really great pictures that some of our guys have taken. So I'm going to come over here. And actually what I'm going to do is I'm just going to drag here. I think this is easier. Okay. Sunset over Berlin. So we've got Chris Johnson just submitted a few. Looks like an Airbus. And so he's now, he's got a few there. And let me bring this stream here over. Okay. Sunset over Berlin, that's pretty nice. Yeah, Chris, nice going. Let's see what these look like full screen. Yeah, look at that. It's a pretty nice shot. That looks like a PMDG. Oops. Hey, that just close it out. How do we get back? How do we get back now once we do that? All right, more shenanigans. Do this. How do we get this back? I guess we click it over. Okay, so open a browser. No, we don't want that. What we want is Discord. Okay, let me figure this out. So here, close all tabs. Oh, I didn't just close the browser, did I? Oh no. I hope I didn't just close the, gotta be kidding me. Alright, let's see here. I think I'm still streaming. And, but, let me get back to the YouTube studio. Okay, so it can't be reached. There we go. Okay, so now, oh no, am I still streaming? Let's see. Oh no, am I still streaming? It would appear so. So now, it would appear so. Hopefully this is. Don't know how to get that back, so let's see. Why did I do that? Okay. Well, let me see how I can get this. I seem to be still streaming, so we'll just go with it for now. And I'm not sure how to actually get back what I had. I closed out the studio, now it's giving me an error, doesn't want to. Okay, let's go here. Okay, let's click on that. Okay, there we go. I got it back. All right, note to self, don't ever do that again. So I was trying to get to Discord. Looks like once you click on this, oh, you have to click it inside. No? It appears that once you click on a screenshot in Discord that you can't get out of it. You got any help there, Orst? Well, here's what I got, but no way to get out of this. Copy, save. I may have to stop Discord and just start it again. Wow. Yeah, I closed out YouTube Studio by accident, so I figured I kind of did this. I went through this same process the other day. This is what made me think I wasn't streaming. Okay, so now I got to close. I think I have to close Discord because I can't seem to get out of that screenshot. So another note to self: don't do that again. Yeah, see, I can't, once I get that, oh no, I'm started up again. I'm locked in this mode. Okay, so let's see. I'm gonna have to close out Discord here quick. Okay. Now, let's restart Discord. Boy, that's a fatal flaw. Yeah, don't click on a screenshot of Discord. You can't get out of it. All right, so we're back here. Sorry, Chris, but I'm not going to click on your screenshot again. Okay, so here's Chris here. So now we have Chris with some more, and he's got, where are these taken here? Time for the return trip. Looks like he's in a Lufthansa, so he must be in Europe somewhere, in an Airbus, maybe an Airbus. Here's Orest, late day descent into Dubrovnik. Oh, Dubrovnik. You decided to give that a shot, huh? Okay, that looks good. And Chris Johnson again. And Chris is pretty active in our screenshot. Yeah, I wasn't able to find another window hiding somewhere, so that's another thing on the list to sort out, because obviously you click on the screenshot. It'd be nice to click on the screenshot and be able to get back, but didn't seem like I was able to do that. So I'll look at that. Here's Tim, or Cameron Dick here. Looks like he's in an Airbus. Not sure where, but it's in an Airbus. And we have Tim Alcozer here. And he's in the FSFDT at Houston. Current construction sites. Oh, here's a classic. Spyros. Spyros has made it in, it looks like a DC-6. Made it in one piece. All right. Yeah, the DC-6 can be kind of fun. There he is. Here it is again on a short trip. Oh, United livery no less, too. Yes, yes. That's fantastic. Okay, we got Chris again in Lufthansa. It looks like an A330. And that's a beautiful shot right there. Really crystal clear. Yeah, Chris. Nice going. Here's Tim coming into Nassau in the Airbus. Pretty nice shot. A couple of nighttime shots here from James Harris. One from James Harris. Says finally back in the skies again. And we got some more from Chris at night. And STL to Frankfurt. STL, St. Louis? I'm not sure where STL is. And looks like you got some rain. Rainy departure. Look at the rain there. That's pretty cool. What is that, Microsoft? Yeah, it's in the Boeing 737. Rainy departure from Denver. Looks like Chris has been doing some flying. Here's Ethan Rose coming in with a with an E-Jets a few days ago. And looks, what's this? GSX. Okay, so Matt is a GSX person, so he might be the one to I have to ask about to help me set up the GSX. I know lots of people like it. It is kind of cool watching the luggage come in, but the amount of fiddling and farting with it has exceeded my patience, given that I'm trying to learn how to stream and everything. And then here's Dylan Nowak. I think I showed some of these on my stream the other day. Yeah, C10 at night, Kirk Stinson. Yeah, these are Kirk in the CRJ. Kirk Stinson in the CRJ. So I want to show a couple others. We have this May Flight Challenge. And so this is, let's play this. This is Christopher Johnson coming in to, now dare I do this? Here's Christopher Johnson coming in to Pero in a 757. Oh, buttered. Look at that. Yeah, Chris. Yeah, that's a very difficult place to... Oh, look at that. Finally sharpened up there. Maybe I have to change my settings here to normal. No, we don't want that. Change my settings here to 1080 dp. There we go. Okay, let's try that again. There we go. A little firm, but you know, that's, hey, that's not bad. Okay, that's pretty cool. Okay, Chris, nice job. I did fly here a couple times myself and participated. Here's a, oh, we already saw one. Rough landing. Let's see what a rough landing looks like. Okay, Chris, let's show us what a non-butter looks like. There we go. Oh, look, that looks pretty good. Yep. Trying to deal with the loss of altitude there. It is tricky coming over that hill and trying to get her in there. And oh, that wasn't rough. A little off the center line though. Oh, well, you got a few hills in there. Yeah, no, that makes it more challenging for sure. Okay, I see what you mean. Okay, that was, yeah, we've all done that. Okay. Here's Kirk Stinson in a retro livery. Yeah, look at that. We have another video from Teofilo. Let's take a look and see what that looks like. Okay. Okay, let's change the quality. Okay. Full screen. Okay, Teofilo, show us what you got. Microsoft Flight Sim. Oh, this looks like runway 33. Okay, so you're giving the runway 33 a shot. This is kind of fun, off at Horst. Yeah, you needed to cut. Yeah, you need a bank angle check there over to the left, and then bank angle check back to the right. I found this approach a little easier though than the 1.5. 1.5 is just brutal trying to get over that hill right there in the background. They were trying to get over that hill, clear it, and then get down on the runway at the same time while not over speeding. Yeah, that took more than a few tries to get that right. That hill is pretty high. Coming in here pretty high. Speed's a little low, so you got a little room to make up the speed. Okay, you got good. You got it. You got it. Oh, leveling up. Oh, right on. Teofilo for the win. Up, a little off the runway there. Oh, yeah. Okay, straighten up the nose. Okay, good. Teofilo for the win on runway 33 at Perro. Yes, sir. Nice going, Teofilo. Okay, so there's Kurt Stinson coming in. That's pretty nice, trying in the PMDG. The real world shot there. Yeah, the scenery is really good, so you can get a pretty nice view of what's going on. We better check for a second here, better check and see what we're doing. And let's take a look and see where we are in our flight here over the ocean. And look around, just ocean. Where are we in top of descent? Oh, we're coming up on top of descent. Okay, so about 40 miles before top of descent, I'm going to want to adjust the MCP altitude, turn on the seatbelt signs, no smoking sign, and set the auto brake. And then, so we're coming up close here. And we got time for a few more of these. So let's take a look. Okay. Again, the retro livery, Stinson. Yeah. So that flight left from New Delhi and headed over to Perro. Great flight. I had a lot of fun flying that. And what is this? Okay, we got any more photos? Everyone less than a week left. Okay, here's Orest. Okay, the man himself. Let's see. Okay, Orest shows how it's done. Okay. Got a little history on the airport there. Fantastic. How long is this video?
Well, on the way.
7 minutes. I don't know that we're going to be able to look at all 7 minutes of it because we got to descend here. We got to get ready. Oh, we got time. Okay, here we go. Oh, cancel.
No ATC up. There is ATC to the side.
Well, I got Oris talking, so I'll let him talk about what he's doing.
Weather's reasonably clear.
Let's see, make sure I got
the obscuration is once we hit the mountains.
There we go. Yeah, you got to select 1080p on these YouTube videos, or you get really crappy looking videos, and it seems to not choose it by default.
Okay, so
oh, come on.
Well, about 20 to top of descent. Already briefed the approach. Particulars are very steep decline after 814, and then zigzag onto the runway. We need at least 5,000 meters visibility and must see the runway by 10,320 feet. And the mist is climbing along the track and out of the valley. The pressurization is set, FMC is programmed, auto brakes are set to 3. The landing data has been put in.
You may have to skip ahead here a little bit, Horst, just to get to the, well, I don't want to fly past our top of descent here. Okay, it's got the Navigraph charts going there. Yeah, those mountains look pretty good.
Approaching PR88.
I did this flight in X-Plane 12 too, just to see the difference, because I downloaded a bunch of ortho. And I did 17 level zoom, and that looked pretty good.
And the transition altitude is actually 18,000 meters, so we'll switch down. Slowing right down, we flaps 5 and 180 at.
Well, I think we got a few minutes. 7 miles times 7 is 50. So by the time this video's done, we should be. I wonder if I can minimize this and take a look.
Yeah, it looks like it's set up pretty well.
Tell you what I'll do. Oops. Shoot.
Okay, so here we go down.
We got a few minutes here. Yeah, this is the start. This is the tough one here. This is the start. You got to get over that mountain at 13,800 feet and then dive down like a madman.
Down. Green lights, 40 flaps.
Yeah, you got the flaps 40, yeah.
6 for the VRAP.
First few times I tried this, I oversped the flaps because you just, even with full, you can't put the speed brake out on an Airbus. You can't put the speed brake out at full flaps. Won't let you. So you have to come down at flaps 2 or 3, and then it'll let you put the speed brake out. Definitely, you need the speed brake in here.
That will be a continuous sum.
While we're watching that over there, I'm going to get the
Like
descent
the
ready here.
on the runway, so we're making good descent. And we've met our minimums.
Yeah, about 10,000 or right about there is about where you need to be. Man, how you kept your speed so slow. That's amazing.
Yeah, give George a rest.
Yeah, it's this hill right here that's the tricky part. If you get too far over that way, you're too high. If you get too far over this way, they beg you can't make that turn. Let's see how Oris does this.
Maybe later.
Yeah, look at that. Nice. Go a little high, a little high. Yeah, coming straighten her out. Yeah, pull up, pull up. Don't float. Oh, nice, nice, Horst. Yeah, well, I wouldn't expect any less from you, actually. But that was nice. Yeah. And you got to slow down here and get off from the end of the
Manual
runway.
braking. Yeah, how about that? Acceptable landing rate?
Yeah, I'll say acceptable. He says modestly acceptable. No, it wasn't. Do it again. Yeah, that was good, Horst. Okay, so I've already set the MCP altitude here, and got the passengers seatbelt signs on. No smoking sign is on. Pull it all the way. All right, and then we've already kind of briefed the departure, and so we'll get ready to go here. So it's 40 miles. There's top of descent. So what we're going to do is 5 miles before that. You see our 100-mile ring? Okay, so these calculations really do work, and there we go. So about 5 before here, I'm going to go into vertical speed and drop it down to 1,000 feet a minute until we catch up to the profile, then go back to VNAV. All right. So we want to check the weather. Now we don't have weather. Can't download the weather at PMDG, but we can come over here to our chart, and we can go to airports, Brussels. Okay, information, and oh, you don't want that. This, I want information, and then we want to look at the weather and the METAR. There it is, 020 at 7. Okay, we'll make a note of that. 020 7. And then we want to have plus 11. And we want to be Q1025. 025. Okay, perfect. Now remember the rule of thumb. We want to be 2,000 feet above ground level at 180 knots, and in this aircraft flaps 5. Okay, we do that, we're pretty sure we're going to have a stable landing. Now, if we're already at 2,000 and we're still below the glide slope but not on it, we're going to want to wait till we get to the glide slope, and then once the glide slope needle is 1 dot above, we're going to want to lower down the gear and manage up the speed, set in our approach speed, and lower the flaps. If we're above 2,000, then at 2,000 feet, we'll lower the gear and slow down to our approach speed, which is going to be VREF plus 5, plus half the headwind component, plus the full excess gust. We're just going to add 5 today. We're just going to add 5 knots today, and then we'll extend flaps on schedule. Okay? So that's going to be it for that. Now, the transition altitude here is 4,500 feet. So when there's no ATC on and it says ATC will determine the transition level, I usually add 1,000 feet. So let's take a look at that again. So at 55, we don't want to miss our top of descent here. Okay, we still have ways to go. Okay, so let's take a look at the transition altitude again. Make sure I have that number correct. So when it says here transition level assigned by ATC, yeah, we have 4,500 here on the transition altitude. I usually add 1,000 feet to that, so that would be 5,500. Okay, so we're good there. So at 5,500, we're going to set the QNH to 1025. Oh, we also need to set our 025. We also need to set our barrel minimums, which for this airport is going to be, I think it's 200, 300, let's see, 375, I think. Let's see, no need to guess, we have the chart here. 375, okay, that's a DH of 200 if we were doing a Cat 2 or 3 land. So we'll punch this in over here, 375. And we are about, let's see, where are we now? We have 5 from, okay, I'm going to start down right now. Vertical speed, and we're going to start down at 1,000 feet a minute. Let's go 1,100, there we go. As soon as a profile comes in, we'll switch over to VNAV. Okay. Now we'll see this needle go up, and then it'll come back down again. Okay, there it is. Okay, so now we're going to go back to VNAV. Okay, we're going to continue now, settling in. I was a little tardy on that, so I should have done that 2.5 miles before, but you get the idea. It's a much smoother transition into the descent than just abruptly diving for the profile, which these aircraft are known to do. Now, normally I would set an altitude of 10,000 feet in the MCP window, just to make sure the aircraft doesn't go below 10,000 without being at 250 knots. But we're going to be at 240 knots well before 10,000 feet. So I think about 18,000 feet is where you are at Woody when we are at 250 knots. So we're going to want to make sure that we're going to want to make sure that we keep an eye on the speed when we start getting down there. So I've set 280 knots for the descent speed. So far we're right on profile. When we get below flight level 300, we're not going to want to forget to reset the bank angle indicator back to 30 degrees. We don't have any visible moisture today, so I don't think that anti-icing is going to be a problem. All right, so we're set up with our QNH. We got our barrel minimums in there. We briefed the arrival a couple of times now, and so we kind of know exactly what we're going to do. I'll go over the missed approach again, and once we get close to the runway. Now we don't have anybody on ATC down here right now at this time, unfortunately. Okay, so there we go. Yeah. And there's one guy going into Brussels, but he's on final approach, and then there's me, so we're pretty good there. Okay, 300. So let's turn this up to max. I know some people put it on 20. I put it on 30. I got the auto brake set to 2. I don't have the speed brake set yet because we might need it. So we'll have to see how we're doing when we get to Woody. You can see over here on the right-hand display that we just crossed here's our 100-mile ring. We can actually take that out now since we don't really need it. We have our other ones in there. Oh, we don't need this one either. This one I wanted to be 10. Leave 10. Okay, there we go. Okay, so far so good. We're right on speed, right on profile. We're doing a pretty nice approach here. Where we're going to need to really pay attention is after Woody. So when we're at 250, we don't want to start going on. Actually, 240. I may just take over the speed and then control the vertical speed from there because I want to just glide on down to the runway. And so we'll see. Now at this point, I'm going to set my throttles to 60%. See right here? I've got the little indicator so that I can pull back my Bravo throttles. And of course, doesn't want to work. Okay. Well, normally there's a little indicator that slides down here right at 60. It's a little blue indicator. So I'm not sure why that isn't working now. Maybe it'll work later when I'm in a different mode. But I never have this problem. So I don't know. I have it set up so the throttles don't actually, my hardware throttles don't actually impact the thrust. I have it set to never. Just makes it easier. I'm going to leave it alone for now. I know about where 60% is. So what you don't want to do is flick off the autopilot with your throttles at max because you'll get a big surge in thrust. So then you got to pull it back, and then it's just one more thing to have to mess with. So I try to pull it back ahead of time. Okay, so we're coming down. We got a decel point here. So we'll see if that decel point is enough. If it's not, we'll just extend a little speed brake and help it out. And when we get to around 10,000, we'll cut the music here and start paying attention to how we're going to do this descent. I like that FSFTL gives you aircraft. Actually, let's go outside so we can see it. We should see a contrail. There aren't very many aircraft flying around Europe at this time of night, I guess. But no, we can't see them. He's too far away. But the contrails really make a difference now because you don't have any labels from vPilot. It doesn't give you any labels at Microsoft Flight Simulator, so you can't really see the aircraft. But with the contrails, it makes them a lot more visible, and it just is a lot more immersive. Yeah, I already activated that option, so I don't know whether it's just maybe it's this livery or whatever. I have that as part of my standard option. So let me take. We've got a few minutes. Let me take a look and see if that somehow got turned off. Okay, PMDG setup. I think it's under options, simulation. I think it's here. Yeah, see, it's showing. See, it was showing yes, so I don't know why it's not. Yeah, it's just not showing them. That is the option you were talking about, right, Oris, that I just showed you? So it's set. And it showed yesterday, no problem. So I don't know what the deal is. Now at 18,000 feet, we got to turn on the fixed landing lights, and we'll turn on the inspection light, and we'll turn on the runway taxi lights too. We'll turn those on. We'll leave it in taxi mode. We flick it on to takeoff when we get our clearance to land. Okay, so far so good. We're right at 280 knots at basically idle thrust, so we're just gliding down the VNAV path here. And we got only 17 knot tailwind, so see, if you descend a little bit early, the tailwinds don't hurt you so bad. But if you don't take that into account, and the FMC you're using isn't taking it into account because it doesn't have those winds, then you're going to end up very high. You're going to find your waypoint approaching pretty fast. Yeah, it worked. It worked yesterday. I don't know. Maybe it'll work when we have the speed window open. Maybe, I don't know. At United Virtual, the standard operating procedure is lights on at 18,000, unless they are retractable, in which case they go off at 10. So we'll go to 18,000, we'll turn on the fixed ones here, and then at 10,000 we'll actually turn on these other ones. And remember, 5,500 is our transition altitude, so we may set that a little early since we're not going to be stopping. Sometimes we can, if you are give an instruction to descend and maintain flight level 60, and the QNH is changed to 5500, and it's a big change between 1013. You can end up all kinds of, you can end up high or really low, and so it's but high is a problem. Low is not a problem necessarily, but high is. Low is a problem if you're around terrain, of course, but around here there's no terrain. I think the MSA is like 1700 feet. Okay, there's 18,000 feet, so let's do that and turn on the inspection light. At 10,000, I hope I don't forget, we'll do this. Now I'm going to start the replay and so get it up here so that hopefully I don't forget it. Oh, it didn't change that? About to change that into descent. Yeah, I forgot to change that. Okay, so we should be hitting a decel point now, and so we want to really want to make sure that that we have speed here dropping to 250. So in the PMDG it drops slowly. See 278, 277. So we're still on profile. Okay. And if we need to help it a little, we need to help it if the speed is the purple speed is dropping, but our actual speed isn't. Then we need to help. But so far it seems to be dropping just fine. But we want to make sure that we're at 250. So we're coming down. Okay. So the descent rate is shallowed out. Once we get to 250, we can turn on the other landing lights. Okay, so we're 260. Looks like we're going to be okay. Yeah, PMDG for the win once again. And I want this to go to 240. Okay. All right, so let's turn on the landing lights. So now we're all good. Okay, we're going to turn these on. We're going to turn these on too. We'll turn the taxi light on once we have gotten clearance to land. All right, folks. Yeah. Now let's just make sure that we don't get too far over. Make sure that we don't get too far over 250. So we're right in there. We're above profile. So we're just cruising right along. No real need to make a radio call here. There's nobody on the ground. So around 10,000 feet or so, I'll start the replay. Okay, the profile now catching up. Okay, so FMC speed. That means it wants to thrust up because it's below speed. And yep, there we go. FMC speed. Gonna touch us back up to 250. Pretty soon here I'm going to take over the speed and do vertical speed on down, but so far it seems to be good as long as we're under 250. All right, then we want to be 220 by here, so we're going to start dropping the speed down here shortly. And so we'll see if that actually happens. You've got a decel point coming up here shortly. Now let's make sure we get the heading bug aligned approximately. Okay, there's retard on the annunciator, so we're going to start get the speed here slow. So the thrust has come to idle, and now we're going to try and get down to 220 knots. And if we don't make it, we've got speed brakes to help us. Okay, so it's dropping slowly but surely. I may get a notch of flaps out here to help us once we get down to 220. Slowly going to 220. If we don't get to 220 here, we may jump in and okay, we're 230, coming up on 230. So get under 230. Keep on going. Okay, 228. Oh, nice job. PMDG, nice job. I haven't had to touch a thing. Well, I may just let this go and see how long, despite my enjoyment with handling this much. There it is, 220. And I think we're good. We're enough above our flap speed. We don't have to worry. Let's go to the initial ref here and get that set. Oh, it's already reminded me. All right, so we're going to do a 5-knot wind correction. Our V ref is 144. That means our V approach speed is going to be 149. Okay. That means we need to land, we need to touch down on the ground at or no less than 10 knots below 144. Okay? And now I'm going to let 1 notch of flaps out here, and I'm going to take over the speed. So I'm going to speed intervene now, and probably put this at 190 for now. We'll get 1 notch of flaps out, and I'm going to now take over the descent just because I enjoy it. So we'll do 1200. Yeah, see now the throttle is, I had a feeling it was, you had to be in speed mode for it to show. So now I've got this set at 60%. And I'm going to arm the speed brake now because we're probably not going to need it. Okay, that's good. Make sure it's not extended. Sometimes, okay, we're good. All right, so we're coming right on down here. Still on profile. And I'm going to start the replay before I forget. So replay is started. There we go. Okay. And this usually freezes for about 20 seconds. So 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Oh, there we go. Okay, about 15 seconds. Okay, so we're coming down to 190, so we're good. We're still on profile. And maybe I'll drop this to 1100 or so. And we have the engines basically at idle. So we're going to try to do this here. We're going to try to glide all the way right onto the glide slope. We may have to have the thrust come up a little bit in the end, but that's okay. That's and let's get our heading set. Okay. And if we see that we're going to be above 3,000 at Nervo, I'll lower down the altitude to 2,000 because that's the next spot you need to be. It does say mandatory, so hopefully we'll intercept the ILS before 2,000. But once the ILS comes in view and we get the glide slope needle, then my whole goal is going to be to descend so that glide slope needle stays above 0, between 1 and 2 dots. And then we can just guide it on in. So we're a little low on profile, so not bad. Maybe I'll dial back the speed a little bit, vertical speed. Now the thrust is going to come up a little bit, which is okay. What we don't want is 70% thrust. We can see we have MCP speed enunciated over here. We're still in LNAV, and we're on vertical speed. And we're coming up on 10,000, so we'll ding the flight attendants. Okay, we have our lights all set. And we have our auto brake arm and our speed brake arms. So time now to cut the music. Thank you, music. It's been fun. So we'll dial you back. Okay. We're still a little high on profile. And I'm going to start slowing down here to 180 knots and get out flaps 5. So here we go, flaps 5. And we're going to slow it up a little bit more. I want to get a little closer down before I start slowing up too much. Okay, we got flaps 5 indicating and set. There we go. Now we can expect this burbly weather crap to start up here. So we got a pretty good descent rate going here. The banana is right about where we want it, so I think I'll go back to 1,000 feet here. Let's make sure we line up the. I want to be above 3,000. So. Okay, maybe we'll go to 900. Okay, and let's get the heading bug lined up here. Okay, we have the ILS indicator. The localizer is showing up right here, so we know we'll have it. And we just want to make sure we're below the glide slope comes in. We should be seeing that pretty soon. I may go into heading mode as well and just intercept the ILS. Now we can see our waypoints here, see 10, 7, and 5. So we're going to hit that here, probably right in here somewhere. We're going to lower the gear, probably right here. That's the point we need to be at 2,000. So that's about where about where we'll do that. Okay, we're coming at 7,000. Maybe I'll give it a little bit of a boost. Seems like we're a little on the high side, so let's come down maybe 1,100. Okay. Maybe 12. Let's give it 1,200, and then I'm going to take it down to 2,000. And then our missed approach altitude is 4,000. So once the glide slope gets caught up, we will then. Once the glide slope gets caught up, we'll set it to about 4,000. See, we're still idle here, descent. Coming on down, 6,000. ENAV says we're a little bit below profile, but that's okay. I'm not really worried about this too much. I just want to make sure that we're above 3,000 here, but not too far above it. Okay, I don't want to be at 6,000 here when we're not going to be able to intercept the glide slope. Okay, 6,000. Now here's this bounciness we see in Microsoft, right? Between 6 and 3,000. Speed is still good. I'm not worried that it's 190. I'd rather have that because the engines are at idle. So remember, we want to descend, ideally descend right onto the glide slope with the engines at idle, and then they spool up as we start to slow down going down the glide slope. Okay, we're at 5,000 here. So that seems about right. Probably slow up a little bit once we see kind of where we are. Okay, 5,500, we need to set the MCP altitude. There it is. So MCP altitude is set. MDA is set. We're all ready to go here. 5,000, bouncing around. Okay, so I'm going to slow it up a little bit. Maybe to 1,000 here. The speed, you'll start to see the speed dropping down. Get us back to 180. So remember the 3 important criteria for landing. Number 1, in the touchdown zone. Number 2, on the center line. And number 3, at or no more than 10 miles an hour below, or 10 knots below VREF. Okay, so we're going to try to achieve that today. And I don't always get it, but most of the time. Now let's get our heading here set. Okay, we're coming down 4,000, still trying to descend here because of this wind. See these winds here? Right, 074, 075, 16, it's all over the place. Okay, we're below the glide slope, so perfect. So now let's start slowing it up. Still at idle. Okay, so we've descended all the way down from flight level 360 to almost 3,000 feet at idle. So that's not bad. It's going to speed up now. It's inevitable sometimes, especially when we have this wind crap going on here. Okay, 180 knots. Okay, we're going to slow it up a little bit more. We want to intercept the glide slope. Okay, so we're going a little, now the engines will start spooling up because I'm going to really crank back the speed here for the vertical descent. I think today, rather than going to heading select, I'm going to just keep it in LNAV and then arm the localizer approach, just because I don't know what made the panel freeze up, and I want to make sure it's not that. So we're still above the glide slope, so we're going to really slow it back here to 250. Okay, because we want to constantly be descending. This technically is still descending. We don't want to level out here and then fly for 5 miles leveled out with the flaps out. So we're still descending. BNAV is telling us we're about 1,200 feet high. And it looks like we're leveling, even climbing because of this wind thing. See this wind shifting around? In fact, the winds are 020 at 7. And here we have 074 at 23 knots. Okay, we're not even descending really. So the engines still really aren't even spooled up. Okay, so I'm going to arm the localizer now. Okay, and you're going to see it's VOR/loc is in white, so it's armed. Once we capture the localizer, I'm going to arm the approach. See, so we're still descending 200 feet. There we go. Localizer is captured. So once we get on the localizer there, I'm going to arm the approach now. Okay, and we're descending at, well, the wind. Now we want to set the heading bug to our runway heading. That'll help us try to make sure we're aligned with the runway. All right, feet on the rudder pedals here. I'm going to disconnect at, so when we get to 2,000 or feet, so we have 25 knots of wind from 073, so that doesn't seem that realistic. So here comes, so we're still descending. Engines are only at 55% or so, and we're going to intercept the glide slope. So that's kind of how a constant descent approach is done. And actually, it's a pretty good idea to do this even in the States. Okay, so now it looks like the localizer's going to line up. The wind is starting to drop off a little. 071 at 28 knots. Okay, so we're going to be at 2,000 feet, but we're going to, yeah, so we're going to now lower down the landing gear, and we're going to set first about 160 knots. So we're going to come down and we're going to set flaps 15. Okay, as we head down, and we also want to set 4,000 here. Okay, now we're going to dial it all the way back to 149. There we go. Now we're going to set flaps 20, 25, and let's just go on to 30. Okay, we're doing a flaps 30 landing today. All right, so we're fully configured. Let's alert the flight attendants. Okay, we've been cleared to land, so let's get our landing, let's get our taxi light on. There we go. We're all set. So landing checklist, landing gear down, indicating 3 green. Auto brakes set to 2, speed brakes are armed. Okay, and the missed approach altitude is set. So here we go. Now it was about in here yesterday that we started to lose it. So another 1,000 feet or so, and at 1,000 AGL I'll take over. So let's make sure the throttles, need to push the throttles up a touch. There we go. And I'll disconnect the throttle as well. Now yesterday my autopilot disconnect didn't actually work, so we'll see if that works today. Okay, we got 057 at 26 knots. That's going to drop off to 7, so we got to really pay attention to that. Okay, 1100. Okay, we're on speed, perfectly stable. There's the outer marker. Okay, here we go. Okay, and disconnect the auto throttle. Okay, there we go, my aircraft. Okay. And let's get some trim in there. Okay, a little more thrust. Okay, there we go. Get down a little bit here. Bring that back. There we go. It's a little more thrust. Get back on the center line here. And the wind keeps wanting to pitch the nose up. So now the wind has dropped off to 029 at 15. So now we got to get over here. Back on the run, get back on the runway center line there. We're still a little high. So let's down a little bit more. Okay. Off the thrust a little bit. Here we go. We've got 12 knots, 11 knots now. Okay, now we're coming up. Okay, crab into the wind a little bit. Whoa. Let's let the nose come up. See, the nose wants to come up pretty often.
Sink rate.
Okay, so here we go. Coming
Sink
in.
rate. 50.
Nose came up again. Okay, now we're gonna.
30. 20.
Come on.
10.
God, she wants to float. Are you serious? Am I down? Oh my God. Oh my God. Okay, reverse thrust. Microsoft. Okay, I got the brakes going here. Okay. Off the reverse thrust. Yeah, the ground dynamics are just abysmal. This is one place where X-Plane really excels. Okay, so here we go. Now we're going to exit off to the left here, and we're going to cross here. We're going to go take the inner. Slow down here. Make sure we exit. Now the aircraft, before you say, I'm clear of the runway, the entire aircraft needs to be clear of the runway, not just the cockpit area that you're looking at. I see this mistake made pretty often. Okay, so here we go. Okay, so now we're clear. And so let's see, I'm thinking that's the inner right there. Okay, so now flaps up, and we'll get the lights off. Okay, this must be the inner here. Thinking. There we go. I think it's this one here. Yes. All right. Okay, strobes. Nice strobes, dude. Yeah. Okay. All right, let's start up the autopilot. Okay, we'll turn off the probes. Whoa, what am I doing? Oh yeah, that's all right. Okay. Okay. A little bit of thrust here. Okay, we'll dial in 100 feet here so the incoming crew knows that knows to check that. And then we're going to come up here and just pull right in off to the right up ahead there. Now let's undo the autopilot. Make sure the switches are off continuous. Okay, there we go. I did start the APU, right? Okay, no panel freeze this time. Well, that was good. Make sure you turn the weather off. That uneven. Okay. Okay, we're going to pull in here. Looks like we have an aircraft in here. Is there anybody actually here? There actually is somebody here at Vatsim, Austrian Airlines. And Brussels, United 1067 is on Inter 7 getting ready to head into gate 45. I see an Austrian in front of me. Is that you? I'll pull into this gate right in front of you. Okay, we got the taxi lights off, so we're going to pull into this gate right over here. Turned a little bit early, but that's okay. Let's take this one here. That way we'll get some gate action. Okay, there we go. And let's slow it up. Let's get down here and kind of see what we've done. And we want to slow right about there. Okay. Well, we made it. So now, gear down. Parking brake on. There we go. We'll turn off the transponder. And we'll shut down the, let's see, make sure they're on. Okay, so now we'll turn on, turn here, and make sure the bleed is on. Turn that down like that. Okay, now we're ready to shut the engines off. 1 and 2. And then we will turn off the passenger signs. And when the, should turn this off. Meant to get confused between the Airbus and this thing. Okay, so, okay, when this N2 gets down to 5%, we're going to want to shut off the beacon light. So we're at 2019. We'll also shut off the hydraulic pumps. Those. Okay. You can shut the fuel pumps off as well. And now we're down below. Okay, we're 4.932. Okay, that's 4. Okay, turn off the beacon. All right, so we have arrived, folks. Welcome to Brussels. And we got the replay to go here. First, let's check. Let's first of all log off of. Let's log off of Vatsim. So over here, log off, disconnect. Let's see if that aircraft behind us was. Yeah, that was definitely him. So, okay. And then we will check our landing rates. See how that looked. Okay. Oh, that wasn't bad. Okay, so here's our ACARS report. Okay, remember? Oh, it's a little bit, speed's a little on the slow side. So 144. So I'm right at the, yeah, so I should have just floated a little bit too much there at the end. And so we were at 45, and this is about, I don't know, what gate is this, 19? This is supposed to be gate 19. Yeah, so we floated just at the end there. MSFS2020. Number, this is 126. And third stream. Probably get a yellow on that speed. But this probably in real life, the aircraft wouldn't have floated like that. Okay, so we're going to log that. Boom. Gives you an idea what our ACARS looks like. Okay, that got logged, so we can close that out. And then we can stop our replay. Here. Stop our replay. So stop. and it recorded. Okay, great. So now see, I usually stop the replay about now, so when you are in the replay, you can drag the slider bar to right about here, and then play it, and then immediately exit, and the aircraft will be about like this. All right. So let's go see what the replay looks like. So I'm going to load up the replay now. Okay, there we go. See how that worked? And here we go. Did it not load? Try it again. Open. Ah, there we go. Now it should. Sometimes this replay tool. Give it a second. Okay, so let's close it. Try it again. Oh, I have to connect. Yes. Let's see. Did it not connect? Okay, there it is. It's connected. Now I want to load a flight. That's this one. Open. Give it. Okay, there. Maybe we need to give it a second to do its thing. Okay, so what now? Oh, there we go. Ah, okay, excellent. Okay. All right, so now what we're going to do is we're going to drag this all the way up near the end. Oops, too far. I'm going to give it a little farther back the first time to give a chance for the scenery to load. The gear to extend. We'll watch it from this side here. Which replay tool do you use, Oris? Do you use the flight control replay, or do you use the free one on flightsim.to? So you can see the aircraft pitching up and down here with this wind. Yeah. I don't imagine that's too realistic. I'm not a pilot, though, so I don't know. Could be. But it sure makes this difficult sometimes. Here we come. Yeah, big pitch up right there. Whoa. Pitch down. Ah, get the nose down. There we go. Still wanting to pitch the nose up. Oh, whoa, what happened there? Yeah. There it is. Well, that's what that looked like. So let's see what it looked like from behind there. Let's see what it looked like from behind. Okay. Okay, we got it coming over the run, a little balloon there. At some point you just set it down, but at least it's on the right, it's on the center line, outside the touchdown zone. So Okay, well, what I'd like to do at this point is I'd like to bring in a view like this from a little further out. Kind of enjoy it, and then head on out of here. Yeah, so what I'll do is I'll show you what I do on the very end, just so you can, there's a lot of aircraft that you can recover this way, and with the INI you can do this, and then you go into the panel and just set the panel to be cold and dark. You can probably do that in the PMDG, and I think you can do that in the Phoenix as well. But sometimes during the replay you'll get the RAD extended, and once that happens there's no way to get that. There's no maintenance feature where you can have maintenance come in and fix that, so you got to restart the whole aircraft. And so here we are, we're about 2,500 feet here. Brussels is mostly flat, if not absolutely flat. I think there's no mountains at all in Brussels, but it's still beautiful. You can see an aircraft over here going the other direction. This guy here. Okay, 2,400 feet, around 2,500. Okay, flaps out, gears down. Okay, that was 2,300 feet. I think the sim ran it much smoother this time, no stopping or anything like that, and no real stuttering to mention it's worth fretting over. So I think we're over those. I think we're over those problems from the past. Okay, we're at 2,000 feet now. Oh yeah, it's wild when it first. Yeah, you got to go in oftentimes, turn off the. There's probably alarms, but on this aircraft, but other aircraft there are alarms that are going off that you got to turn off. But then it settles down pretty quick, and then once it does, you just slide it around. It works pretty good for the most part. Sometimes you got to operate the thrusters yourself if you want to see them deploy on landing. The thing is, if you're planning on doing a follow-on flight without restarting the sim, that's sometimes you have to deal with a few things. Now there's the outer marker. Boy, that scenery looks good. Man, 10 years ago we'd have killed to get scenery like this. You know? Look at the shadow down there. There we go. I usually run this when I'm by myself. I run this from like the whole run on one side. I hate when people streamers, they just flash between different views. Boom, boom, bang, boom. You can't see anything, you can't observe anything. Us old folks like to sit and ponder, right? And absorb. So I like to give a little longer view. But this might be too long for most people on stream, but people get bored easy. Oh yeah, re-engage at the gate. Yeah. I don't even unload passengers or do any of that stuff before I do the replay. So I come into the replay. If I want to do that, then I may do that today. Just to do it, I'll hook up the jet bridge just to complete the flight. I have a little thing I want to try to do as an outtake once we land. Got the drone cam. Yeah, I don't think these aircraft sort of hover over the runway at 5 feet, bleeding off speed before they settle down. I think they come down, right? Yeah, look at that. See, that should have just come right on down. I had it perfect. Should have just come right on down, but it just wants to float down the runway. Comes down and wants to float some more. Another little gust of wind pushing the nose up. Finally. Oh God. Okay, I'll reduce this. Yeah, I'm doing the reverse thrust myself. 190 feet a minute though, not bad. I'll do another short one from this view, and then we'll head back to the gate and wrap her up. I'm not going to go all the way back. I'll just do it from here. Here we go. Last 1,000 feet. Yeah. Well, the turbulence that's in Microsoft, it always wants to push the nose up. So when you're coming down nicely in the glide slope, you'll find the nose suddenly pitching up, and you'll be high. You got to dip down, and then you'll get it, then it'll pitch up again. This time I think it happened right on the runway for some reason. Because I wasn't, I'm the check, close, hold mode, so I just close the throttle and just hold it. And it should have touched down way earlier. If this would have been the Zebo, it would have touched down way earlier and right about right. And I think that's what people talk about when they talk about the difference between Microsoft and X-Plane is the flight model versus the scenery. Like this scenery looks beautiful, right? But then you get this flight model stuff trying to land the thing. So you can see it's descending right now. They want to pitch up a little bit there, and it's descending nicely now, and I'm not doing a thing, right? Right there, and it should have just dropped right down, boom. But instead, I wanted to sit there, right? Gust of wind came along. It's this ground effect. It's just, look at that. Okay. Okay, so after this is done, I'll pull the flight control replay program on screen, and I'll show you how I do this. Maybe you already do this, I don't know. But if you don't, I'll show you kind of how I do this. Because you can also let it run all the way to the end, but once I've done the taxi, I don't really want to run it all the way to the end. So what I'll do is, I'll just stop it here, and I'll run it to about, so that's just a few. If you let it go too long, it'll loop. So you play it, shut it off. And it's in reverse mode, so I don't know why. So, is the autopilot even on? Is the auto? Okay, well, anyway, let's hook up. I don't know. I don't have all that much experience with this. So let's get ground services here. Let's get the GPU. Let's get the chocks. Oops. GPU. Is it brake not set? Brake is set. So let's set this. Okay. Request ground power. Request air conditioning. And let's just request all this stuff. Not the fuel truck. And then we'll actually come over here, request these guys. Okay. And then we will come back here and we will connect the jetway. Once that's done, oh no, that's not what we wanted. We want that. One more page. One more page. Request the jetway. I guess we got to open the door. Open the door. Here we go. And I guess we'll open the cargo first. Now we should be able to disembark the passengers. Yeah, is the jetway not hooked up? Yeah, jetway's hooked up. Door should be open. Speed brake. Okay. Well, this isn't working for some reason. Oh well. Let's get the. Oh, I know why. Because I probably have the hydraulic. I have the power off. Yeah. Yeah, there we go. Okay. Now we should be getting the. Yeah, make sure you keep the power on. So should be able to. Let's see. I did this right. Yeah, so we can turn off the APU. And then let's see why can't we disembark the. Oh, I know why, because I have to set this to 0. Problem. Yeah. Same thing here. So 0, and that's start. 0, start. Oh, it's arriving. Okay. All right. So I think it's about time to end the show here, folks. And so let me get the music started here and no, unmute. Let's see. Let me start the music here and then we will get on out of here. Thanks everybody for watching and for coming and offering comments and whatnot. Certainly do appreciate it. And until next time, we shall see you later. There's Brussels. Yeah. So, time to go head home. So, we'll head on out of here. Speed up a little bit. Head on over to Brussels. All right, Oris, we'll see you later.